live, uncut, unedited.
Come
You
on
already know
in.
what it is.
Come on
Live.
in. Come on in. This is live, uncut, unedited. Live, uncut, unedited. All right. We was having some technical difficulties, but we're back live. And people, let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, just let me know. Let me know.
I love being.
Come on in, people. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. This is live, uncut. We got Sister Doris live. Somebody said it's still choppy. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Hold on, hold on. I'm about to pull out my microphone. Let's see. Where is it? I got my other microphone. What I do with it? Another microphone. Oh my God, I don't feel like pulling that microphone. It's much slight choppy. Maybe that's my internet connection. Huh? Let's see. We're gonna get it out, sister. They know we're gonna get it out. All right. Hold on. Let me make sure my nephew is on this video game. Hold on. Hold on. All right. I'm back. Is it still choppy, people? All right. Is it still choppy? Back in. Come on in. Come on in, people. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. All right. Still choppy. Let's see. Much better. Slightly choppy. Peace, brother. A little better. I don't know what's wrong with it, people. What's up, Martin? What's that? Big Drew 79. What's up? Okay, we're gonna get started, people. You are going to have to contract your internet service. You have to send them what you say, send them you out a Wi-Fi town. Okay. I got the top of the line. I got the best money can buy. That's all I can tell you. I don't play. All right, Sister Doris, we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started. Come on,
Well,
Sister Doris.
another thing I want, another thing I want to say. I want to say this to all of the ones candidates who ran. Whether you got one vote, two votes, 100,000 votes, 150,000 votes, you got that vote from the people. So you have no right to go and endorse anyone without going to those people that voted for you. And we have the data, we have the breakdown in terms of where the votes came from. So if you are sincere about making a difference in the lives of black people, you have no right to go out there and make an endorsement without going before those people who voted for you and asking them, who do you want me to endorse? I didn't hear Wilson last week when someone told me that he was saying that the politicians didn't support him. Well, Mr. Wilson, the people did. You went to the people with their vote to support you, and the people did. So you have a responsibility to go to the people and say, first of all, thank you. But now this is where we are. I'm not in the runoff. We have two people in the runoff. Who do you want me to endorse? Who do you want me to back? But see, they don't do that with black voters. They don't do that in the black community. They step out there on their own and make a decision. You have a right to make a decision for me because I'm the one who voted for you. So I am all about empower black people to change the narrative of the way we think because we've been conditioned to think and to allow people to come into the organization, come into churches, come into wherever we are and talk about what they're going to do. But they never specifically say about what they can do for black people. They talk about everybody but
Sister
black
Doris.
people.
Sister
They
Doris.
treat us
Sister
like
Doris.
cohorts.
Sister Doris. I need you to have your phone on speakerphone. Don't put your
No, I'm not a
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, what about a piece of Bluetooth? You on the Bluetooth?
No, I don't have that one. No,
Okay.
I don't have it.
All right. Go ahead. Continue to talk. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying. The people, we power, and that's why we're going to have to start thinking that way, so we can pass this new narrative onto our young people. Let's not leave them with this old conflict that hasn't really gotten us anything in 50 or 60 years. We're in serious trouble. We're at war, racism and white supremacy, and we have politicians, we have business people, we have people from all walks of life, from our communities, that are doing the bidding of the system of racism and white supremacy. And we need to understand that. We have to take our own out sometimes before we can get to the white man, the woman. We have got to We've got to change our thinking. We've got to start using our votes in a powerful way, using our money in a powerful way, because it's politics. Politics and money go hand in hand. They've always given us politics, but they don't come to us with the economics. And it's the economics that help us to survive. You can put you can add another 1,000 policemen to the Chicago Police Department. If you do not put resources in these communities like they have on the north side, it's going to remain the same. Study after study after study shows us that there is a serious correlation between poverty and lack of resources. Now, it's not to say that all of these young people out here doing what they're doing are in dire need of anything. Some of them are just trying to be doing it. But the masses of the people, it's because you don't have resources. You cannot help the people. If you run a fire department that's 75% white and they only make up 33% of the population in Chicago, and it's only 12% black in the fire department, those are our tax dollars that are financing these people. Those are our tax dollars that they're using to pay these people. So if it's 12% black in the fire department and we make up a population of 29%, we should be asking for a minimum of 29%. So if they increase the fire department from 12% to 29%, look how many jobs that creates.
Hmm.
Look, you get sergeants. Look how the same across the board. Sergeants, however the ranks are with the police, the
Right.
fire department. If you have 29% of black people representing all of those departments, that brings money to the community.
Hold it, Sister Doris. Hold it right there. Hold it. I was explaining this to Erica last night. I don't know if you were listening. And I think,
No, I didn't.
okay, what our approach should have been with Johnson and Paul Vallis is we tell them now, we tell them about Black Chicago, and we're willing to put 100 volunteers or 50 volunteers and put our money where our mouth is. If you come to speak with us and talk to us, we have to give them some incentive to come. We know that both of them are aware of the letter that was written out and researched, and we have to do that because right now it's critical moments. A lot of these politics, well, these two politicians, they're looking for support. Some of them looking for volunteers. They're looking for money. We know the violence camp, they got plenty of money. Probably the justice camp is looking for money. So that's what we have to do. Because what I did was how I got Johnson on my live. I showed him my numbers. I showed him how deep my reach is. Then he decided to come on. So that's what I think we need more than the contract in our hand. We needed some tangible that they can see, because maybe
Well,
go ahead.
well, but the tangible thing that they can see is the vote.
Right,
We can never put money before that vote.
right.
Because if black people, if Harold Washington is a classic example. Black people went out and got money for Harold Washington. If black people think that you are going to address their needs, their interests, their issues, black people will support you. vote to get in.
Right.
So let's not make that mistake.
No.
No, the
What you
vote is the money.
well, let me just say this.
And if we
Doc, let me say this, Dr. Doris. Now, it's just like I know you're not a church going woman. It's just like when you attend a church in that ministry. A lot of people, if you believe in this ministry, you're going to support this ministry with your money. That's how. That's another level of support. Just like me, I don't get on here begging for people for donations and stuff like that. So when a person give me something, donate something to me, it shows me their level of support for me. Just like you got the Fraternal Order of Police back in Dallas, Paul Vallis, you got the Teachers Union back in Brandon. They put money. Each one of these unions are putting money, flowing money, so they showing that they believe it. What I was saying, what I was trying to get, man, I understand you. Politics is a game. It's a money game too, and a vote game. It's power. And if I guarantee you, if you tell any one of those politicians that you have 100 volunteers, but in order for these volunteers to help you out, you have to come and sit with us for an hour and see what our agenda is. How can you address our agenda? If we don't have no money, 100 volunteers is a lot. Free labor. That's all I'm saying. We have to get them in there. We have to get because that's. Do you think Ken Griffin is donating $4 million to Paul Vallis just because he's nice looking? He's a good guy and all. He's looking for a return, and we all.
No, Ken Griffin. Ken Griffin is looking for a return from Paul Vallis.
Yes.
I understand that, and if I'm going to give my money to a church, I have to know from that church what is the community going to get from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Right.
That's how we should be thinking. It's not on an individualistic basis, but on a people's basis and on a community basis. And as I said, if you are saying to Black people, okay, we know we don't have enough Black teachers in this system that would be good for our children. So this is what I'm going to do. If it's 21%, I'm going to make sure we hire a minimum of 29% to reflect the population, which means we will have more Black teachers who will eventually become tenure teachers on the south side of Chicago, but we will have all these substitute teachers. So the money is giving the money to Paul to get the message out that Paul is spewing out. They're doing the same for Brandon. The teachers union gave him the money so he can get this message out there. But Brandon and Vallis have to understand that there's a Black population over here that has an issue, that has an agenda, and there are things you must do for them if you want a vote, especially when you can so brazenly say, I have an agenda for illegal immigrants, people who are not citizens of this country in the city of Chicago. Yeah, money is very important, and Black people will do that. Now, they're always talking about Black people don't vote. Yes, we do vote, but Black people are tired of voting, and our South Side and some parts of the West Side look like a bomb has been dropped. The streets are not paved. They're dirty. Our kids are not working. No employment. No trade schools. Not anything to uplift our community. So I'm really tired of seeing people saying Black people don't vote. Yes, we do. But why should I keep voting? That's the way a lot of people think. If I cannot see any tangibles, white people, Gary Graham has been here. He's going to see some tangibles from Vallis. White people see tangibles from the people they vote for, and they know, and the voters, the people that they vote for, they know that if they don't bring some tangibles to these people's communities, they are not going to vote for us anymore. I just use what happened when I was church, young people killed up there. Do you know that they issued a no-fly zone over Highland Park? Only the Congress of the United States can do that. They had the Attorney General of the United States commenting on what was going on in Hyde Park. Everybody came out fighting. You know why? Because they know if they had not done what that community wanted them to do, they would have been out of office. That's power by the people. And we can do the same. Yes, money is important, but my vote is more important than money
Sister,
in order to get it.
Sister
That's all
Doris,
I'm
Sister Doris. Now, no disrespect. I
saying.
don't know how big Black Chicago. If it's I don't know how. If you know if a person politician know that you have an organization of 10,000 people, trust me, they're gonna listen. They're gonna come and speak to you. They're looking for people. See, listen. Even if we don't have the money, I'm just saying we need the people. We got to have a leverage there. We just can't put that contract in the hand on it. Say, listen, Vallis, Brandon, we have an organization of 10,000 strong. Each and every last one of our registered voters here in the city of Chicago. I guarantee you we wouldn't have to make damn one of them come see us. They'd be kicking our door down, come to see us. Anything. I'm just saying we have to use the leverage. It's a game that they're playing, and you know we.
I think it goes with the territory. I really do.
Yeah.
I think if it goes with the territory.
Yeah.
If black people know that somebody is going to be doing for them, they will automatically come out. That's what happened during the Washington movement. People, I mean, it was one of the volunteers. People were everywhere. It's going to automatically take place. I'm not saying that that's not important. It is important, but people have got to believe in you first. And if you can convince them, hey, I am for you. You're going to get the same resources as everyone else. You are going to get people to volunteer. It automatically comes with the territory when you are sure and convinced people that they are going to benefit from voting for you. They're going to get the volunteers. You're going to get the money. Another thing I've always said, I don't ever remember hearing of a black politician asking the people for money.
They do.
I don't
They ask
remember
for
any
donations.
of this has been
Yeah,
done.
the website, they ask for donations. Come on
Yeah.
now, Doris.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
been
the
here.
website. Yeah, website. On
Yeah.
the website. Yeah, I'm the website. But I'm talking about actually going into the community.
Mm.
Not going
No,
through
no,
not
they don't.
going through any.
Well, this is Sister Doris. This is how they do it. They come in the community. I need your help. One way you can help a politician get money, volunteer. That's it. It's coded language. So
And
that's what they use.
yeah,
Sister Doris, we got to play the game. Listen. We got.
and I'm not opposed to that.
I know. I understand what you're saying. You got all the facts down on your paper on that contract. You know, and so I know it's choppy, but it's nothing I can do. It's nothing I can do. It's choppy. I'm sorry. It's not my bill pay. I don't know why it's so choppy, but I'm trying to get where we can.
Mark, you're right. You're right about what you're saying.
Because we got the doors. We got to. If we don't have the money, we got the numbers. You know, numbers. It's just how.
And that's what's important. That's all.
Yeah, and that's why I got Brandon on here. I showed Brandon I have an average of 1.7 million people come to my page in a month, 30 days. Now it's almost 3 million. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of people coming in and stuff like that. You know, wow, let me come on his page. So I give you half an hour, and it's cool. And that's how it works. So we got to use our power, Black Chicago.
But guess what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but guess what? Guess what? He came on your page too because he saw that potential number as being voters.
Yes, right. That is correct. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm not knocking down none you say. You know, I'm right there with you guys. I promise you, I'm right there.
I know you're not. I know you're not. But I'm going to
Yeah.
listen to this. I know you're not. But when you said you got 1.some million listeners, people who come to your page, he is thinking those are potential voters. He didn't think about money first. He thought about potential voters.
That's right.
And I'm not saying, I do believe we need to finance our own politicians.
Yeah.
I firmly believe in that. But finance them if they are going to make sure we get equity parity. And that's why I don't want us to get so caught, get entangled in the money. Now, people who are listening, that doesn't mean that money is not important. Well, I wish we would start, and I think we can. Once we find someone who we believe in and whom we think will promote and push our agenda of equity and
Yes.
parity, that can happen. But again, he came on your show because you mentioned 1 million some potential voters. He didn't come on there because he was talking about getting 1 point some million dollars.
Right.
He saw 1 million some
Well,
voters.
yeah, you're
And
right.
that shows you the power of the voters,
Testing. Yeah,
the
you're right.
voters. Because I mean, who is it that put so many? I'm just trying to remember the politician they put so many millions of dollars behind, and he lost
Yeah, he did.
because he didn't get the vote
Right.
that he. I can't remember the
But the
candidate.
Aurora guy, But hold on, Sister Doris, I got two more callers. You stay right there with me. Okay, I think that's Dr. Sanders. Hey, Dr. Sanders,
Okay.
you're next. Hold on, Doris. Dr. Sanders, come on. I know it's a little choppy today. My bill is
Okay.
paid. I don't know why it's so choppy, but we got to work with what we got. Okay, come on with it. Okay, okay.
Yeah, well, like I said, I did my part last night, and one of the people said they wanted to see a copy of the contract within his camp. So I did my part to try to help that one, the best way I can. I'm done today. Uh, but when you talk about the numbers, let me say it's in media because I've been in media before. It's the viewers who you have. When I worked with Reggie Miles at WKKC, there was a lot of viewers that were listening on the radio. So when you talk about viewers, Martin, he was viewing people from all areas, all over the country, so they would not be included, in Chicago and Illinois. But because of the topic that you talk about, that's important, to an election, to a candidate that will or like to be, chosen to be the next leader, whether it's an alderman, a mayor, a governor, or what have you. But when you do politics, a lot of these people want money. Money talks. Everything else walks because they have a lot going on today. I think Brandon, he be like, what church today?
Hmm.
Today, with Johnson Jackson. So we just want to be able to come up and vote for the candidate of our choice. I support Brandon Johnson, no matter what. Not just because he's a part of his family, a part of where I come from, but because he has a platform. And he's 46 years old. He's not a kid. He's a grown man. That is trying to do something different and would like to do something different. Given the opportunity, I think it should be taken into consideration because you have an opportunity to meet with them before then. So a lot of the places that he's at and going, some of you all, if you can, and the weather permits or allow, the Lord, for his come, go and talk to him, send him letters. It's so important to
Hmm.
know how to come to someone,
Okay.
talking about someone like him.
Go ahead. I was going to say something, Dr.
You
Sanders.
said,
What we're stressing today is what we're stressing how and trying to use a technique on how we can get him to sign our contract and get the
Mhm.
attention of Brandon Johnson.
mhm,
So that's what we're
you got to follow where he's going.
right.
Yeah, follow where he's going. His itinerary. His itinerary will tell you what's going on. It's simple. It's not complicated. You can, publicize it on, YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, because he does have pages. So that's pretty
Okay.
good.
But we're not listening. But what we're trying to, Dr. Sanders, now what we're trying to do, we're trying to set up a meeting with him. We want at least an hour or something. A meeting. We don't just want to hey shake his hand and give him a hug. That's good too. But we need a meeting with him with our representatives and show them our leverage, what we got going on. That's what we want to do. Um, that's what I'm. That's what we need to do to get Brandon's attention, let him know that, hey, dude, this is a powerful movement. We for real, and we can do a lot for your campaign, but we need you to agree to some terms that we have, But and that's it. I got another caller. Hold on, Doctor. Go ahead. Go ahead, Doctor. I just said I had another call. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like I said, so one of the people that's in his camp, texted me last night because he heard the discussion, and they said they want the contract, and I said, okay, the best I can. I don't know, maybe he might to meet this week. We have, but if I see him, I will talk to him directly. But I know that one of his people in his camp asked me this morning, late last night, get a copy of the contract so they can see it. I said, okay, I'll do my best. That's all I can do.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
Okay, that's good. Next caller.
Something?
Yeah, go ahead, Doris. Go ahead. Go, sister.
To the doctor, we put a copy of the contract in his hand. I am emailing every day, if not every other day, a copy to his campaign office. They are getting the contract. They're not coming back to me. And I'm going to continue to try to meet with him all this week. And I'm hoping that I can meet him. Not I, but the group who's been working with me.
Yes.
All of us sit down and meet with him. And the reason I was thumping for him, I was all for him, but when I read where he has a plan, justice immigration plan for illegal immigrants, and he cannot respond to this contract that we put together, if he cannot sit down and meet with us, then I've just made, and this is Doris Lewis, I've made a decision that I can no longer continue to go forward supporting politicians who not respect my community and do not respect that we serious issues. So that is my problem right now with Brandon Johnson and with Paul Dallas. But that's not to say that I cannot change my mind if I get a chance, or if we get a chance to meet with him. This contract was not Doris Lewis. That's the contract for Black Chicago 2020.
Okay. Caller, go ahead.
If you can, my email address for Martin.
Yes.
And Facebook page. And I will send it to you. I'm Katrina Sanders. I'm on Facebook. I don't want no trollers on there because you go on there trolling. I will find you.
Okay, give your information to Martin. I will do that.
Okay. All right. Come on, Sister Erica.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Sister Erica, go ahead.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that again because the doctor, I don't know, I said it several times last night that I put that contract in Brandon's hand, and we've been emailing that contract every day. When I say literally, Doris, am I lying when I say every day?
You're right. That's right. We have been sending it to him. I got the
So it's not right. He's ignoring it. I want you to be clear on this. He's ignoring it. But he just rolled out a plan to cater to the immigrants, the migrants, and the refugees. Now, these people are not bringing any money to the table. Black tax dollars are bankrolling them. And on top of that, Martin, they can't even cancel votes for him. Just think about that. Here you looking for Black people to vote for you. You want our money, but yet you can't come and sit down. And another thing is, we invited Brandon to our forum. Brandon Kemp, they responded that he was not coming. Point blank, period. Okay? Point blank, period. Now, if he wants some money, some donations, Martin, you know it. That room was filled to capacity. We put out 100 chairs and people were standing up on the wall. So if he wanted some donations from our group, he should have showed up to our forum. He should have showed some respect and showed our forum and to us. See, you can't, you keep trying to give him this wiggle room, and that's the problem that I'm having with y'all. Stop making excuses for him. We have went over and beyond the call of duty to reach this man. This man is ignoring us. Not only ignoring us, he's ignoring the black community. He is ignoring the black community. I don't care who you know that's close to him and they say this and they say, listen, we have done it. I met Brandon personally and put that contract in his hand. I did at that.
Okay.
We have been sending it to them. They responded to it. And when they responded to it, instead of coming to the
Sister Erica.
why you're not getting it now?
Sister Erica, what about Paul Vickers? Yeah, they email him every day.
Oh, every day. Paul Vallis is going to get infected one after the next. Paul Vallis is getting status. Vallis has a plan for immigrants, but not black people. We're not confusing. This is about black people. I don't care who they are. And a classic example of black people not getting anything, they put their money where their mouths were, and that was Obama. Let's be for real. And Lord Lightfoot. Let's be for real.
Okay.
Now, the beauty of what is happening is that this information is coming out that black people are thinking. And I thank God for that.
Yes.
If we understand that black people thinking, and that black people saying, my vote is important, I am valuable, and all of that comes from money. The money is going to automatically come.
Okay.
Whatever his name, we're not. I can live with $200.
Right. Let me all right, big.
Until he sees what he's got to my people.
Right. All right. I want to play something. And Sister Erica, I said it to our girl. I'm gonna play it a couple of times. This is Dr. Amos Wilson, and I want to play this for my listeners. Let me just.
The 4,600 black elected officials in the U.S. share Mr. Vaughn's feeling of helplessness. Now, we just can't afford helpless leaders feeling helpless. I mean, if we're not electing these people to feel helpless. For the black people he represents. The black, the unemployed, the welfare recipients, as he describes them. I have a sensitivity towards poor people's problems, he says. Blacks are number one. But when asked to cite specific ways that he uses his position to help black people, he points to his authorship of a bill passed 4 years ago that made the late Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a legal holiday in this state. Well, he's to be congratulated for that. There isn't much more I can do, he says. Many of the 4,600 black elected officials in the U.S. share Mr. Vaughn's feeling of helplessness. Now, we just can't afford helpless leaders feeling helpless. I mean, we're not electing these people to feel helpless. For the black people he represents.
Say one more time. Here it is.
The black, the unemployed, the welfare recipients, as he describes them. I have a sensitivity towards poor people's problems, he says. Blacks are number one. But when asked to cite specific ways that he uses his position to help black people, he points to his authorship of a bill passed 4 years ago that made the late Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a legal holiday in this state. Well, he's to be congratulated for that. There isn't much more I can do, he says. Many of the 600 black elected officials in the U.S. share Mr. Vaughn's feeling of helplessness. Now, we just can't afford helpless leaders feeling helpless. You know, I mean, if we're not electing these people to feel helpless.
All right, people. And I that's what I wanted to talk about. Now, Sister Doris, that's basically saying what you and Eric have been talking about. Sister Eric have been talking about. We elected politicians that's helpless. They don't have a blueprint for the black people that vote for them. So we have to, like you said, this is the number one word that I hear, Sister Doris, Dr. Sanders, Sister Erica, hold them accountable. How do we hold politicians accountable? We wait till 2 years is up, or we wait till 4 years is up. Then they can do a lot of damage. So it's got to be another way that we can hold politicians accountable, like while they're in office, not when they get off, vote them out too. But it has to be a way, people, because remember what I said. I learned this from Sister Erica. I learned this from Wally Muhammad. Politicians only cater to people who they most fear, and we know the white folks, and those who bankroll them. And who bankroll them. Those are only two that they fear. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Mark, see, Dr. Amos Wilson, love him. Dr. Francis Wells, I go back and I get all these books. Dr. King, I've been listening to his speeches about, the boycott down there in Memphis. And Dr. King himself said that when the integration took place, he led his people into burning bush or burning house, however it goes. But Dr. King realized all that. And that's really why they killed Dr. King. He got on the economic piece. Dr. Francis, Dr. John Henry, all of these scholars that we have, I have books, I study these people. And
politicians in Chicago. That's how they feel too. That's how Brandon Francis feels.
They feel the same way. So you know what? I'm not letting up off not one, because this is for my people, black people. We've got to stand up for our people. We're in trouble. They can find money for everybody but us. These are our tax dollars that boy is sending to Ukraine. It ain't coming out of his pocket. It's coming out the millions of black people who pay taxes every day right here in Chicago to finance these departments here in the city of Chicago that Brandon or that boy, that Vallis will get over. These are tax dollars, black tax dollars that will be paying to take care of everybody else while our brothers are sleeping on the ground on Lower Wacker Drive, or when you go towards Oak Park on Interstate 290, you have tents of homeless black men and women. And we're supposed to be quiet? Oh, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no.
Okay, now
I'm not doing this on my own. God is putting this in me to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have to get something.
A text message. I need a copy of that contract that sent. The person that is in there, they want to see the contract. And like I said, I want to be clear about something. I'm not stupid, but I like to be informed about what you're talking about in order for you to defend what you are. That's what the thing about.
Have you seen the contract?
No, she haven't seen the contract.
Not. That's why I'm asking for it.
Doctor, I will get it to you tonight. I'll get it to you tonight. As soon as Martin gives me the information, you will get it. If I have to come to your house, I'll bring it to you.
No problem. It's not a problem. Not a
Okay,
problem.
thank you so much.
That way, I
Thank you
try
very
to
much.
help. I'm just trying to help, and I'm not personally involved. Erica, I want you to listen to me directly. I don't have a personal relationship with him like that, but I know that we're connected in the same faith. So by us being in the same circle, he was very cordial to me. With me not knowing about your contract, I don't know how to present it to the persons that work directly with him. And I understand your cry. I do. I hear it. But don't attack me. Don't punish me. Don't crucify me, because I don't know until I read it and give it to them and let them, and I can talk very good. I'm a good lawyer with that. I can talk that very good, but I only see him when I see him around the church world. So the thing of it is that I will do my best, as I did promise, I did, and they're still waiting for me to get the contract. That way I can send it to them, and then that way talk to them into doing something to help. That's all I'm trying to do. We always say nobody.
And I appreciate you. Oh no, I appreciate you. I told you that already, but what I came on to say tonight, I want to clarify, because I don't think you heard me when I said I put the contract in his hand and we've been emailing him every day. That's what I'm saying. I just want y'all to be clear on that part. You feel me? But I appreciate all you're one of the first people that stepped up to say that you would help. So like I said last night, I appreciate you extending that olive branch, because everyone else is just, beating us up and, trying to tear us down. But I've been saying that if you think that it's a flaw in there, help us to get it bulletproof. Help us. Don't beat us up, because we're here to help. We're not here to hurt. We're here to help. So I appreciate your help. I recognize help when help comes.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
And Dr. Adams, I appreciate your help too. And we have been spending our own money dealing with this. We haven't asked anyone for a dime, and I never will ask anyone. I will do whatever is necessary to liberate my people. This is about Black people and our children going forward. They're killing each other out here because we haven't given them anything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anything. They don't have the trade schools. They don't have the social things that they have on the north side and that they have in the suburban areas. Our children are begging for our help. They don't respect us. They don't respect us because the Black politicians haven't done anything with them. I just pray to God that they don't catch me out on the street and hit me in my head, because that would kill me, because all of my life I've been working and fighting for children. But I understand they're crying for help. And nobody's helping them. We got all these damn churches. Why haven't these ministers come together and say, we're going to go into these areas where the so-called gang leaders are, and we're going to talk to them, and we're going to help them? You got all these damn churches, and you got 35 and 40% in certain sections of the Black community in Chicago, but you got a church on every corner. That ain't representing Jesus. That ain't representing God.
Say that.
You're representing yourself, the devil. And I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm going to stay on this, because I don't do anything without feeling like I am being divinely guided. I ain't getting nothing from this but a lot of unnecessary sleepless nights.
Yeah.
This is a lot of work. People fighting us left and right. All we're trying to do is educate the Black community, because you have been bamboozled. It ain't your fault. We can't keep blaming Black folks when we've had people standing before us the last 50 years getting elected and not do anything for us. But you can tell me, you can give somebody who's not even a legal resident of the country of the United States, you can give them $5,000 and $500 a week, and brothers are sleeping on the street, sisters are on the street and with their babies? Hell no.
And they can't even cast a vote for them. They can't even go to the voting poll and vote for them. So just make that make sense. Please, somebody.
This
How?
is out of love for our people, and I get passionate. I'm sorry. I am passionate because I want to see my people do better. I'm tired of hearing about our children being killed and old women being raped. The community has failed the community.
Mm-hmm. Hold it right there, I got another call. I think
Yeah.
that's the Reb, the Barbara, 6112. I think that's Reb, the Barbara. I'm not sure. Go ahead, caller, 6112.
Hello, I kind of want to just listen real quick.
Okay, okay,
Brother Johnson,
okay.
I'm listening to the women, the wisdom of these women, and I
Okay.
just did in after talking the time.
Okay, all right,
All right.
all right. Okay, now, yeah, that's what we come here. It's like a think tank. We trying to learn. Iron sharpens iron. We're trying to learn. But what I can say, speaking on the pastor's behalf, they did make a stand that they was going to stand behind Willie. Not Willie, I mean Brandon. So I give them that much credit now. I know they're cause of a lot of things, but I witnessed them saying that they was going to stand behind Brandon Johnson. So I give them that. Give them that
But
much.
we need to get and get this contract to these ministers and let them look at it. Again, we can stand behind him, but he needs to look at this contract. He needs to sign it. Again, we're doing the same things over and over and over again. And you know what, Martin? These politicians expect that because they know they don't have to work to get our vote.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna go up on the north side talking that mess.
Not at all.
I'm tired of us being disrespected by these ministers. You don't ask him for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Don't treat us like whores. We're not your whores.
It's a lot of backroom deals going on. That's basically just like tonight. I'm just gonna give y'all a good example. Tonight, this evening rather, they had a big thing over at the Inglewood Center with Vallis over there. And I seen someone's video. They shared it over Facebook. And I'm just looking at all these black people on the stage surrounding him, and he up there telling lies. You know, and like I said last night, Brother Martin, we have a serious case of amnesia. We forget everything. And I'm going to give you proof. Black people went out and voted for Biden because Obama told them to, right? But they forgot that Biden was the architect behind the bill that locked up like nearly 3 generations of black people. It's still some black men sitting in jail right now because of the policy that Biden wrote. Okay? And we forget this. That man stood on the Senate floor and called us niggers from the Senate floor. There's videos out here everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So we forget stuff easily because someone like Obama will come before us and sell someone to us. Now he's about to sell his wife to us. But just keep in mind, I'm talking to all the black people that can hear my voice. Keep in mind that if Michelle Obama gets in there, she's going to do exactly the same thing that Obama did, which is nothing. On Obama's first day, what he should have did is wrote an executive order to give black people reparations. But guess what? On his last few weeks on the way out the door, he said, if y'all want if you want reparations, sign this survey. Now, sign this petition. Wasn't it a petition, Sister Doris? Because that's when we was in the LOC. It was a petition he put out.
I think it was. I can't remember.
It was a petition.
Let me add one other thing. Okay. But let's go to Joe Biden again. If South Carolina had not carried Joe Biden, he wouldn't be president. But what did he do? He came in and issued an executive order, anti-Asian hate crime bill. Who needs an anti-hate bill? We need it. Hell, everybody's killing us. An anti-hate Asian bill. Black folks are killing Asians. They're killing us and beating us up. Everybody is beating us up and killing us.
They just passed in the Emmett Till law, or did they pass it? I'm just saying. Look how long Emmett Till been dead. Emmett Till been dead how long? Why? Right. So why do they even need to, like, they passed the anti-lynching bill? That's what it was. Why do we need to have a lynching bill in 2023? Because people are still being lynched.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Sister Erica. Sister Erica, let me ask you guys a question. Let's reel it in a little bit. Who do we hold accountable? Is it the everyday citizens that do the voting, or the politicians that we elect? Now, if we don't demand anything from them, it's everybody. Okay.
Everybody. The citizens we are powerful. I just gave you an example of what they do in Europe. Mess with those white people over there in Europe. I guarantee you they will not be in office the same day. We've got to start thinking the same way. We are fighting for our mere survival. Everybody is killing us. Everybody. Where is our anti-hate crime bill? Nobody talks about protecting us, particularly black men. And sisters, without our black men, we ain't nothing. Understand that and stop falling into that trap. We've got to come together as black people. It doesn't matter if you're a black man, black woman, a child. They don't even call our children. They call 12-year-old boys men. That's how much they disrespect us, because we allow it. There's a whole lot we got to do.
Hillary Clinton called black men super predators. Super predators.
Black boys. These were black boys. These weren't even men.
And Joe Biden said to lock them all up, because they're gonna crack his wife or his mother over the head or something. You know, they just now, and I'm just saying, who is more savage than white people? That's all I'm gonna say.
No more.
Who is more? I'm talking about through history. Who has been more savage? Have we done the things to them that they've done to us? Be serious. Be serious. And they would label us like this.
Right. They call us robbers. They call us thieves. They stole a continent and colonized another one, Africa. How are you going to call us a thief?
Right.
And people.
Yeah.
Please, don't. Oh,
all right.
Christ.
All right, Sister Erica. In your own words, Sister Erica.
Yes, sir.
I did hear about the meeting today that they had over there on at the center over on Halsted, and it was a room full of black people talking to Vallis. But listen, if anybody that was there, if you're listening to me right now, you better get your money up front. Don't go for those broken promises. If you're going to support him and he's promising you something, get your money up front. Trust me. Get your money up front. If you're gonna go that route, if you decide to go that route and wait on the promises, stay on that side with him and wait on the promises, you might listen. Too many people are being promised so many things by Paul Vallis. I want to say that. And somebody's going to be left out. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, all of y'all going to be left out, because he's not going to get in. Trust me, the way it's looking, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
Trust me.
And you know what else, Brother Martin? Brother Martin, Paul Vallis has, caused a big rip in the black activist community. He got everybody fighting. You see what I'm saying? Because of this money he's throwing around. Got everybody being cutthroat backbiters. And, we allowed this devil to come in and cause all types of chaos once again. So I'll be glad when this election is finished. Whoever comes out on top, I'll be glad when it's finished, so we can calm down and get our thoughts together. Well, this is madness right now.
Well, I believe
they say money is the root of all evil.
The love of money. Let me just say this, Sister Erica. Let me just say this. Sometimes when an earthquake comes, it shakes up different foundation. And when the dust settles, we're going to see everybody for who they are. all these activists and different people, they're not for the community. One thing you hear Sister Doris always talk about the community. They're not for the community. They don't count.
They're not.
They don't count. When I see them, I look at them as nothing. I'm sorry. Sorry. Because I know the first person that come with a bag, you going. You're going. I know it. So when you see,
I'm with you.
I'm
with
serious. It's nothing. And most of them people, and I'm going to say this, and I love some of them that was in that room, but ain't nobody paying no attention to them. Trust me. I'm being honest with you. Their word is no good. Broken promises. Listen, people know who's the stand-up people out here. They know who they can trust, who they not can trust. People, they know who's in these back door rooms. People that know food. They may not come out say it because they don't want the heat. And I understand that. One thing I know, black people, they play crazy, but they ain't crazy. They see. Those that have eyes, those that have ears, they can hear.
But when I speak about the community, those people are the farthest people from my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about brothers and sisters out here who are trying to make it, trying to take care of their families, but lack the resources to do what they need to do for their children, for the community. I'm not thinking about, I know about all these people over there getting $2 here and $3 there. Help yourself. And like you said, you better get those $2 or $3 now.
Because
we're talking about something everlasting.
Thank you.
We're talking about institutionalizing.
We're talking about
another way
long-term effects.
Long-term effect. Institutionalizing the way black people think.
Man,
we're talking about changing the way we think, though.
And I've seen people support. I've seen people support Lori Lightfoot, go against Lori Lightfoot, support Lori again, and back and forth, back they flip flop. I've seen it. How can we? How can I'm serious? Seriously, how can we take your words seriously? How can we take your words seriously?
But Martin. Martin, I was on your show with one of them, Martin. I was on your show with one of them one night, and I had to shut that thing down on him on there talking about Lori is the best candidate. Lori is pushing pedophilia in the school system. Lori and J.B. Pritzker should be arrested on the spot immediately, and no one wants to confront this. See, we've been out here doing a tour around the city. A few pastors have allowed us to come in their church and talk, and I love them for that because the rest of them are some scared to death no-bros. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Then you got these nonprofits out here. They pushing for J.B. Pritzker, and they ain't even supposed to say nothing about politicians. But here they taking their whole group down there to go, support J.B. Pritzker. What is really going on? The man is pushing pedophilia. He should be arrested.
Oh, he is.
And black people are not, black people just don't get it.
Is it that
Lori Lightfoot, had Lori Lightfoot done right by black people, she would be there in office again. She started at the last minute with that cheap approach, trying to buy people. Look at the money she was supposed to have put on the streets. Did she win? No. And we're talking about the masses of the people who only want these politicians to take their tax dollars and take care of them and their families and our communities. And if you cannot do that, I'm going to be, as long as God allows me to breathe, I'm going to be.
Okay, hold on. My phone went out. Her phone went out. I think my phone. Hold on, people. Hold on. She was talking. Hold on. 8729908. Everything messing up today, people. Hold on, Sister Doris. Sister Doris, hold on.
Hey, caller, this is
My phone hung up. Hold on. Hold on, Sister Doris.
Uncut, unedited broadcast. Just before you speak, please turn down all your
hold on, Sister Doris. Hold on.
Down and do not have us on speakerphone so we
Hold
won't
on.
have an echo, and we'll be with you shortly. Thank you so much.
Okay, my phone
I
hung
can
up.
guarantee you, wherever white people, it's not going on. It's not going on in the Asian community. It's really not going on in the Hispanic community. It's going on in our communities because we allow everybody to treat us like cheap whores.
Mm. You giving us too much credit, Doris. Sister Doris, whores get paid. We ain't getting paid. Whores get paid. They get their money up front.
I'm talking about the whores who don't get paid. There are a whole lot of whores don't get paid.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a whole lot of them out there.
I mean, Martin, when it comes to, like I said, CPS, that's my pool. But it is crazy because and I know, Miss Doris, you retired from CPS, but see, even on Frontline, there's substitute teachers have to come in and fill in. Now, for the most part, a lot of them don't teach them. They just go off the lesson plan, which is an old lesson plan that the original teacher has until he or she comes back to return to work. So you're
absolutely right.
To bypass the time because you can't really teach unless you're a cadre sub. And that's when you were with the school for a whole year based off of till the other teacher comes back. But it is crazy. Pritzker don't give a rat's tail about black people. He put all the preachers in there.
No.
Martin, and he stood up there and buy our folk out. And what they said, I told one preacher before when who was it, Romner was in office, and one of the organizations that we're affiliated with, they had some grant programs. And so I told myself,
there you go.
You all could use it for the church. Guess what the preacher told me? Well, I get about $10 and $20 and $30 grants, so that's $5,000. You talking about that's like pennies, on the west side. So I'm telling you, I feel you.
It's real. It's real.
Offering you a program, and our own people. A lot of our preachers are sellouts. I'm gonna be honest with you.
They ain't nothing but some whores. They are whores.
What is it?
They are reverend whores.
Mr. Carter says, how much is the preacher in the window?
You know what too? No, and that is the gorilla in the window, Magilla gorilla. I remember that.
Well, listen, people.
Seriously.
Let me just say something.
That's a good one.
Hold on, people. I want to say something.
Go ahead, Mike.
Lori Lightfoot is history. So we can be done talking about her.
Good.
She's going into retirement. She's done with the city.
But you have to use history to show people.
Yes.
You have to use history to show people why she's gone.
Yes.
How much is that preacher in the window?
So we won't make that same mistake again. That's the whole point.
Okay. I got another.
The whole point.
I have another video I need us to listen to. I have another video I need us to listen to, and I'm going to bring it up. So y'all just give me 1 minute. I got another video, and I think you'll like this, Sister Doris. Both of you guys are like this. And this is talking about Paul Vilas. And this is a young man. He broke it down so great. And let me make sure. Okay. Share. All right. I got him on the screen now. Now I need to get him playing.
People couldn't buy houses there, and the property values began to fall. When the property value fell, the tax base followed, causing institutions and services to be diminished, education underfunded, businesses to leave, and value to be stripped from the community. At the same time, funding from the GI Bill and FHA loans were going almost exclusively to white people. Those two bills made homeownership possible. Listen to Chicago mayoral candidate Paul Vallas explain his problem with teaching the full racial context behind American history.
When you introduce a curriculum that is not only divisive, but a curriculum that further undermines the relationship of children with their parents, with their families, that's a dangerous thing. And for white parents, I mean, how are you going to discipline your child when your child comes home and your child has basically been told that their race, their parents, their grandparents have discriminated against others. And for that matter, if you are a black child, how do you go home and listen to your parent when your parent has failed to be successful in addressing these historically racist institutional obstacles?
Black people originally came to Chicago as refugees, fleeing racial terror in the South. When they got here, they were funneled into racially segregated neighborhoods. Government agencies and banking institutions then drew red lines around those neighborhoods to denote where they would not give loans. With no housing loans in the area, people couldn't buy houses there and the property values began to fall. When the property value fell, the tax base followed, causing institutions and services to be diminished, education underfunded, businesses to leave, and value to be stripped from the community. At the same time, funding from the GI Bill and FHA loans were going almost exclusively to white people. Those two bills made homeownership possible. Listen to Chicago mayoral candidate Paul Vallas explain his problem with teaching the full racial context behind American history.
All right, I just want you guys to hear that. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was very interesting. Very, very, very. We need to hear stuff and know stuff like that. I think a lot of us, Sister Doris, Sister Erica, Dr. Sanders, and Rev the Barb, a lot of our people are politically illiterate, if I may use that term. We don't know what's going on. All we care about is minor things in the neighborhood and, what's going on. And we have to take our thinking up to another level. We have to have power. Why you think the white people, Democrats and Republicans, they have merged together to make sure that this young black man don't get in office? Whenever a Republican supposedly be giving Democrat millions of dollars in the election, I don't understand that. Something is not right somewhere. I'm just talking. I don't understand it.
It's right, Martin. Just wait here real quick, Sister Dora. Let me tell you something, Martin. It's all the way right, all the way white. Because one thing about white people, they may not disagree, but they're gonna stick together to keep us down. So, and this is what I wanted to say earlier when you said, how would we go about holding them accountable? I've been saying this to the group, out in public, saying it even to the politicians. We are going to call a boycott. CTA is going to be where we start, and then we're going to ask black people, period, to stay home. Stay home for a day. Stay home for a day so they can understand. Because, see, if we don't, this is our last chance to make our last stand. Because all they're getting ready to do is give all of these immigrants work permits. And once they do that, they won't have to respect us at all. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And we also are looking into how to find out how to recall a mayor. Like you said, we don't need to wait 2 years, 4 years. And no, we're not doing that. If you get in there within your first 6 months and you ain't doing like what, the way we think you should be going in that direction, then we're going to start filing these papers. We need to get you up out of there. And we need to get that governor up out of there. And that's real talk. This man is pushing pedophilia, and I'm going to keep saying that until people really understand that. Children are being raped on school buses. Children are being raped in school. Okay? They are being over-sexualized. They're being taught all types of extreme sexual behavior, starting from kindergarten. And they do not even, just think about this, Brother Martin, in the workplace, they don't even want you to say certain things in the workplace as far as sexual things. You can't bring that type of stuff into the workplace, but they want to put it in our schools. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, they're trying to implement the After School Satan Club.
Right.
They already brought it to Moline, Illinois, and it's going to be implemented everywhere if we don't stand up against it. This is what Governor Pritzker is pushing. So we always wait until the last minute and be reactive. I'm asking everybody to be proactive. Go up to those schools, and tell them you do not want your child indoctrinated into this over-sexualizing, perverted, and legalizing and normalizing of pedophilia, because that's what it is. They are moving to legalize and normalize pedophilia.
Okay.
And another thing, brother. Go ahead, Dr. Sanders. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Erica is right, because there is an investigative committee with CPS that does a lot of investigations that never hit the media. And Ms. Doris, you know what I'm talking about. There's an investigative committee that actually has an ongoing investigation every year. We got the whole story. So Erica's not exaggerating anything. She's saying that because I read 2022's investigation and how a lot of the workers and the students, high school kids, having sex with their teachers. Oh yeah, it's going on in the school system. A lot of the staff is having nasty things going on, and it's not reported on national television because that investigative committee, they keep that and they deal with it just like the Catholic Church. They deal with it on the inside, because they can remove you out, suspend you, or put you will not be able to come back there, and they'll put a marking on your record. Am I right, Ms. Thorne? So this
You're absolutely right.
It is very, what Erica is saying. I just read that last month, and I told one of my coworkers, where did this come from? CPS. Yes, they don't talk about it on the news. They shut it down. They sure don't. So when she talks about Krista is on this kick, Martin, I can concur. Yes, it is true. I'm going to actually get this. I'm going to get that to you, Martin, so you can read it. I want you to read it yourself.
I know.
Because it's another investigative committee in CPS that investigates, but they did not tell the media.
You know, Martin, too, when it comes to the Republicans and when it comes to the Democrats, they have always been on code when it comes to us. They have never been off code. And that's the code we're trying to get in the Black community. It doesn't, when it comes to white folks' interests, they don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or nothing. That's how these people think about us. And that's how we have got to start thinking about them. You don't like me, I don't like you, and that's okay. Just give me my resources and let me take care of my communities. I mean, it's just that basic. It's just that basic. The blueprint is there. And you know what? We have always made it. If our ancestors could imbibe that savage history of the Middle Passage, and we are here because they survived, you mean to tell me we can't survive now? Something is wrong with us if we can't. Well, but they have programmed us so much.
Sister Erica, as I always,
we can do it. Just got to stay on it.
As I always say, we're not going to get every Black person 100% on board. We just have to get enough of us, on board, and we can get some things done. Trust me, because if you waiting on every Black person to get on code, it's not going to happen. You got some Black folks, they are in love with the master.
Logical to think.
I know. They're in love with the master.
That's not even logical to think.
Right. You know.
That's not even human nature. All Asians are not on code. All whites are not on code. But it's enough of them to go after us.
Right. It's enough of them. And, you know, and some of us don't believe nothing good can come from Black people. They just don't believe it. And somebody said
we got to show them differently.
Yeah, we have to show them.
This is the beginning.
Right. This is definitely the beginning.
This is the beginning.
You know, we got a lot of work to do.
Empower yourself.
That's right. You got to believe that. You got to believe that. And see, and watch those activists that's chasing money, people. I told you that. I told you guys you're going to see a lot of activists swinging to the right, swinging back to the left. Whoever got the biggest bag, whoever they think they can get some from. It's not about the community. It's about themselves and their organization. That's what it's about. I want to be able to say,
and watch those churches too,
Yeah.
faith-based.
yeah,
Those faith-based church. Whatever happened to separation of state and church? That's a lot of BS.
that's always been a lie. That's always been a lie. You need, listen, anytime political people make decisions for yourself, for us, church ought to get involved. They ought to get involved. If they wasn't getting involved, they wouldn't have election polls in their basements, in the churches.
Right.
They have them. So that's another game that's been told on us. Another game. Trust me. So people, listen, I'm gonna tell you, when you find a loyal person that's real and straight up and down, you better keep them around. Because there's a lot of folks out here hungry. And listen, they will kill you dead for the master. I'm telling you. And I guarantee you, it probably wasn't no room in that auditorium when that white man came and talked to them today. They listen, I guarantee you, there was nobody in there that mentioned about the community. They mentioned about their organization and what they represent. That's it. Now, I'm not mad at nobody sitting down with Paul Vallis. That's not a crime to sit down and talk with Paul Vallis, to see where he at, to get familiar with. That's not a crime. But what's a crime is you're only supporting him because he's giving you money. Now, that is a crime. What about the long term?
Yeah.
What about our race of people?
Yeah.
Is it about you or is it about the people? Which one is it about? Is it about you looking good or all of us looking good? And listen, we have to hold each one of these politicians. We have to hold Brandon Johnson, Paul Vallis. You have to have a blueprint for Black people to plan. You can't ignore us. And we got to demand that. Now, y'all know I'm standing with Brandon Johnson. I'm not double talking, but we need a plan for Black people. We need a plan. We need a plan. Here's the people that's not citizens of this country, but they have a plan for them. Here's the alphabet community. They have a plan for them. Well, somebody said, well, the alphabet community, they're a powerful base. I said, we're a powerful base too, the Black community. Y'all need our vote to get in office.
Right. They
Can't get in office without that Black vote.
Right. See, that's another thing we've got to stop saying. We keep saying about the power that other people have. You have power. We have power. So again, it's just trying to change this whole narrative of the way we think. We have power, Black folks, and they know that. They know it. Paul Vallis knows he can't win without Black votes. Brandon Johnson knows he cannot win without Black votes. So give the Negro, the white boy, and the Negro an agenda. Give them I don't care if you say you don't do anything, but write on a piece of paper. You're going to have to keep my streets from having these potholes every other month. Little things we can do. You get this contract, you get it in your hands, add to it. This is for you. We just put together a template for people to follow. Black folks, we are powerful. Don't let anyone trick you into thinking that you're not. The Black man is the most threatened person on the face of this earth to white people. That's why they're killing our babies. And they've got us killing our babies. Understand this game, this white supremacy game and playbook that they've been playing for the last 500 years.
And you know what?
We can save ourselves.
Saying about the whole killing of the babies. That's one way that J.B. Pritzker got in office, because he started this whole thing about that abortion and pro-life and women's rights. This was the trick. Now, just a few months before the election, we were in a battle with him and Lori Lightfoot about these mandatory vaccines. We didn't have a choice with that. We got kicked off our jobs. We got fired. We lost our homes. People became homeless. All types of things. Lost businesses closed, mostly Black businesses, may I add. And we didn't have no choice in that matter. But all of a sudden, when it comes to killing Black babies, We have a choice. See, that's what I'm saying about the devil. You have to watch him. He talks with a forked tongue. And Lori Lightfoot adopted their way. She spoke with a forked tongue too. So what I'm saying is, so we won't keep repeating this. You got Paul Vallis up there right now. He's speaking with a forked tongue. You know what I'm saying? So we have to watch out for these vipers, family. These vipers, they are running wild out here. We have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our community. And we have to come together. That's our biggest problem. You know, we can talk all day about what Brandon ain't doing and what Paul ain't doing, but what we're not doing is unifying. You know, like I said, Paul was over there with all of those black people in that room. Now, it's people that's on our team that was in that room. And I put in our group text, I hope that someone that's in that room would have the courage to present that contract to Paul Vallis. Didn't nobody respond? But the next thing I know, I see your live videos popping up on Facebook, and I put it in there. You know, it's just a shame. It's a shame that we will constantly keep doing this same old thing, voting just to vote. You just want to be there to skin and grin and clout chase and get a little money on the side. You know, it's pitiful. It's pitiful. It's
okay.
pitiful.
Now let me ask you ladies a question.
But you know,
Hold on, Sister Doris. We're nearing down the end.
I was just clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. I need to ask you ladies a question. How can we unify? You know, how can we unify? Now, remember, we're not talking about everybody, but how can we unify amongst ourselves and get some things done? I mean, what is it? Okay, let me ask y'all a question. Let me just get down to nitty gritty. What is it that we need Brandon Johnson to do? What would we like? Just name me one thing. Each one of you guys, name me one thing that you would like for Brandon Johnson to do. That's what I'm going to go on. We'll do that the next 20 minutes. Come on, Sister Doris. Go ahead.
Sit down with us and discuss this contract with Black Chicago 2023.
Okay. Dr. Sanders.
And I would, go ahead.
Dr. Sanders.
Be attentive.
Okay.
Be attentive.
Okay. Sister Erica.
Be attentive.
Okay.
What the needs are.
Okay. We need them addressed.
I would like, because Sister Doris already said the contract, I would like him, when, you know, if he was to get into office, I would like him to ban those books that they have, those perverted books that they have in there in our children's library, like the gay BCs and, you know, this stuff where they're teaching them anal sex, oral sex, and talking about transgendering and all that. I want him to go in and remove that whole agenda, okay? Because it's immoral, it's perverted, and it's a whole anti-God movement. And he says, I think he says something about him being in the church. So if you being in the church, bring your good morals over here and correct this thing. They took prayer out of the church and they're replacing it with the after school Satan club and a perverted sex agenda. And no one seems to have a problem with this. So I want him to come in and make some correction. That's what I want.
Okay, now let me just ask you a question. Now, didn't the governor sign that into law, that curriculum?
August of 2021.
The governor, not the.
He signed it into law, but it's up.
Right. Not Lori, right?
But listen at what I'm saying.
2021.
But listen at this. Listen at this. It's up to the Chicago Public School Board to accept it or reject it. It's up to each individual school to accept it or reject it. And the parents can opt out. But I have a problem with this whole opt-out thing. Instead of them opting out, they should have to opt in. You need to send me something home saying that I give my child permission to participate in it, because that opt out thing is saying basically, I don't even have to let you know. You know, you find out on your own, and when you find out, you can come in and remove your child if you want to. But even if you opt out, it's still being taught in the school. Your child is still going to be exposed to this. So what I'm saying is, even if you have to separate the children and the parents that want their children to be involved in it, if you have to separate them, okay, that's what you have to do. But don't expose everybody's child to this sick, perverted agenda. Some people really want to protect their child, and they want their children to grow up normal and be God-fearing, God-loving people.
But you know what? He can get rid of it altogether, because Chicago had what you call home rule. And that was incorporated in Chicago in 1837. And it has not been done away with it. So he can just do away with it, because they don't have to listen to the state, because they have home rule. And as far as I know, it hasn't been changed. So use the law. You use the law when it comes to us. Use the law. These things are on the books. Use the doggone law.
Mm-hmm.
And we can make him do that.
You ready to talk, Rep?
Yeah.
Rep,
Yeah,
go ahead. Rep the
wanna
barber. Go
engage.
ahead.
I had to come in and just settle down, but I want to engage, and I just want to go back. I want to take y'all somewhere with me real quick. I want to go back to my message this morning, but I'm not going to speak the message, but I want to read something to you guys, because when it's all over with, what I've seen today, as a matter of fact, not only today, but what I have seen this past week dealing with politics and dealing with this mayor race, I have seen it clear in what I'm getting ready to read. All right. And I just want to read it before I just explain. If you go to the book of Jude, which is the book right before Revelations, there's something that God has said that we all need to hear. They say, beloved, remember the words which were spoken before of the apostles of our Lord Jesus Christ. It says how they told you there should be mockers in the last time, who shall walk after their own ungodly lusts. These be they who separate themselves, sensual, having no spirit at all. But ye beloved, building yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost. Keep yourselves in the love of God, looking for the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ unto eternal life. That of some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, putting them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. And I'm going to end right there, because what we are seeing and what we have been seeing the past, as this lady said, the 500 years, we're seeing it in a different way now. No longer is it only the white man. No longer is it only the colonizers that is ungodly today, that's mocking the things that we are supposed to be living with when it comes to righteousness. But they look just like us. I mentioned it before. They are the gatekeepers. I mentioned before, they are the government. And they are those who say they speak for us when they speak for no one. We are listening to these people speak. And if you can sit up and listen to somebody say something on your behalf, you know whether they're speaking on your behalf or not. And that's the thing with both of these candidates. And that's why I sit back and I don't engage. The only reason why I had to be there in the room, because my church had to be the host. I'm the one who do the sound. But you ain't gonna see me in there. They was taking the pictures. They was in the press conference. You ain't gonna see me in that. I was there to do a job that my church is called to do for the community, not for Paul Valley. But we are looking in these last days, and we are in the closeness of the final hour. We are looking at no one suffer and step for our tomorrow. If our future, if our children are suffering like that, you better believe there is no tomorrow. And you can't blame it on the children. I hear people, all these kids crazy. You can't blame it on the children. I sit on the board, and I went to one of the first meetings, and it felt like I've been sitting on the board for 10 years. I went and at Nicholson Elementary, I sit on the PTA. But I was able to sit in the room with the LLC. The PTA is the parent representation. The LLC is the teachers and the principal representation. And the way that I see when the parents and those that's in my circle come, and we're new to this, and we have the ideas on how to make it better inside the schools, they always telling us what we can't do because of CPS rules, what we can't do because of the Board of Education. But then I seen in the same tongue and in the same atmosphere in that room, those that say that the parents and the community can't do, they turn around and do it anyway. They go around the policies of what they're not supposed to do just to get their agenda across. So now you have this test coming up. I don't know the name of the test, but I know it has something to do with math, reading, arithmetic, language, art, science. They got all that. But do you know? Let alone, huh? No, it's not ISAC. They named it. They named it. It's not even ISAC no more. They named it again. They rechanged it again. Now, if you know, let it know not only inside this particular school, and you can't tell how many schools are dealing with this issue. There's no teachers in the school. There's substitutes, and I think y'all mentioned that when we are having a teacher that's changed inside of our school system over and over again, our kids ain't learning that. Do you know that it takes a teacher to go through the summertime for their lesson plan? They get their lesson plan at the end of the school year to prepare for that lesson plan for the beginning of the next school semester. And do you know that the teachers themselves can't teach because they don't know the lesson plan? And it's not that they're not studying in the lesson plan. They don't understand the lesson plan because the lesson plan is culturally biased unto them, which makes the test is culturally biased unto the children. And you ain't sitting up there testing to see how smart the kid is. You testing to see how the Department of Education in the United States says that they're supposed to learn. No. So if you can't sit up there and make up this curriculum, teach the kids, the kids gonna fail anyway. I learned this inside. I sat in that room for 2 hours, and I was disgusted. And I said, I gotta get in there and continue to go to the meetings and make my voice be heard. So when, Brother Johnson, when you ask what can we do, because it seems like unification ain't gonna work the way that we're going about unifying. You got to get to the point where those that have the heart, those that God has set and appointed for a time like this, a season like this, have to get into the groundwork. Forget the politicians, hell, forget the voting, and get in there if you can by the grace of God and the mercy that He give you to use your time. Get face to face with these kids. Get face to face with these teachers that care. Get face to face with these principals and let them that we're holding you accountable. And we know that they don't have the power to change, but at the same time, God will elevate you. God will elevate these voices. God will elevate the nature of them seeing, look, these are the people that's speaking, that's working, that's not looking for the pay. These are the people that's speaking, that's working, that's sitting up there and looking for our kids. And then we got the power to be unified because people going to start watching, they're going to want to join. And as we unify, then we can sit up there and go to the powers to be and tell them, look, boycott this, boycott that, because right now you ain't going to get nobody to unify. You got two different sides of black folks. One on the Democratic side and one on the Republican side. You are not going to get them to come together right now. It's night and day. As I was telling, but I was disgusted being inside that room in the first place today. To see faces that I seen that I ain't never seen. The only time I see them, only time I see them is on video doing this, saying that they doing that. I was disgusted today.
No, he was in the room.
Time, we ain't gonna get no unity the way we looking for the unity.
Right.
Talking about the ISA test.
Right.
Talking about the ISA test.
Okay.
Yeah, and they said now the test now this principal at Nicholson said this test that they gave them to give to these kids is a test that has never been given before.
All right, we got another caller, y'all.
Tell you what they gonna do.
We got another caller.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. 0900. 0900. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Martin.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm glad to be living in the land of the living. Come on with it. What you got for us today?
Okay, well, I was listening to the female caller. She was talking about how Brandon, he needs to do something about the books that's in the school teaching these kids about all this perverted stuff. And I'm gonna tell you this: when it come down to it, if you want your voices heard, you gotta show up to these PTA meetings. You know, white parents and in these white communities, they already know that. They have this stuff down packed. When they want change in their schools, they show up to these meetings. They write letters. They write emails. That's really what it comes down to. We in the Black community, we are too passive. And these schools and these teachers and these principals and these administrators, they know that. They know that we're not going to show up. And so therefore, anything and everything can be pushed on the kids. And like I said, in white communities, these people, they get together online in their little groups. They talk amongst themselves about emails that were sent out because they actually read the emails. They care about what's going on. They just involved. And that's really what it's going to come down to. You know, you can talk all you want about, you know, you want these politicians to do this, but you need to start showing up to these PTA meetings because that's where the change is going to get done at. And we know that's probably not going to happen. That's probably not going to happen. That's probably not going to happen in our community, as we know, because just most people are just not involved in the Black community specifically. They're just not involved in their kids' education like that. They send them off to school. They happy that they gone. They pick them up. And some of these people, some of these parents, they don't ask their kids what they learned today. Therefore, because the kids see that the parents are not invested, so therefore the kids are not invested. You can't put everything on the higher ups. You got to be involved. Like, I don't understand this in the Black community where we want to push our problems on somebody else. You know, we don't want to take initiative and deal with it. You know, use the voices that we have. And I know that a lot of us, we think that we're powerless. So therefore, we look to a leader. But honestly, you know, Mark, you know, we don't really have a community. So you know these things are just it's not going to change. It's really not. I mean, I hate to say it. I hate to be like a Debbie Downer, but I'm a realist. And you know that our priorities are messed up. And our priorities are not
okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, dear sister. Since you hold on, me too. Hold on. What percentage of people you talking about, Black people you're talking about? Give me a percentage, because that's not all Black people.
Okay, well, I'm talking about let's say given neighborhoods like North Lawndale, Austin neighborhood. I'm gonna say like 20 or 30% of these parents is actually involved in their kids' education on the level of them showing up to meetings. I'm not talking about them when they get home asking how they day was. I'm talking about actually showing up to these PTA meetings. I'm gonna say like 20%, to be honest. I'm gonna say like 20%.
Not even that big.
Yeah.
Not even that much.
Okay, but this.
Not even that much.
Okay, listen.
Mark, you know this is true.
Okay, hold on. This is what I want to say. When we speak about the Black community, let us be careful, because everything that we say that's negative, it does not apply to every Black person. Okay, I just want to be careful of that, you know. I know, I'm just saying. But see, listen, I know where you're going. I understand you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that because, like, sometimes when I be talking, I have to say not all Black people, you know, because all I hear is negative things.
You don't want to categorize people.
Right. That's
but Martin, that should go without saying.
No.
Like saying every white person is racist or every Black person is a drug dealer. We know that's not true, right?
Right.
So,
but we have
sometimes
we have to put that out there because we got parents listen to this. We got young people listen to this broadcast or going to listen to it if they're not doing it. And it can be discouraging sometimes the way we talk. See, a lot of us, we speak and talk without no hope. I have hope for our people. Now, are we going to be able to save everybody? I say no. But we can save a lot of people. And you got to remember, our people, You're dealing with the people in these high crime areas that don't have a credit score, 700 credit score. Now, if you go to a community that have 700 or better credit score, they don't have all these problems. They don't have all these problems. But these underserved communities, their resources dried up. That's why a lot of us moved out of these communities, because things are so bad.
I know I did.
I know, so, hey, it is what it is. But go ahead, Erica. I think you want to rebuttal.
Illinois, Martin.
I know.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I do. I want to rebuttal.
Oh, you got a rebuttal.
Because what she said was, she wanted to speak to the lady that was talking about get the books out of the schools, right?
Right.
And I don't think if she heard everything that I stated. I said that we have been doing a tour, speaking to parents, speaking to clergymen, we're speaking to teachers. I'm not going to give you our strategy over the phone, but trust and believe it's not dead. We're just getting started, and we're going to join white people. We're going to join Gays Against Grooming. This is a white gay group, but they are against what this LGBT curriculum that they're pushing in the school. They don't want that title on them. These are adults doing adult things, making their choices in life, but they don't want that to be implemented on children. So we're going to collaborate with other people, and we have a strategy, but we've already been moving. Now, what you can do is you could join us, and we can become more powerful with you joining us, and you can, bring in your cents, or your 4 cents, 5 cents, 2 cents, and put it in the pot, and we mix it up and, move out on it. You know what I mean? But we have been, we have been going across this city, and we're not getting funded by anyone. We're doing this on our own time with our own money. Yeah, and we're putting it all over social media. You know what I'm saying? Now, what you can do, like I said, help us.
Well, hey, I would love to help you, but I moved out of Illinois 8 years ago because I couldn't.
Well, it's gonna come to your state too, honey. You are not. Trust and believe. This is a nationwide movement. They are putting this in all schools.
I'm aware.
And whether I don't even have children, my children are grown. Okay, so I'm just letting you know I'm doing this because I'm concerned. Not just about Black children. I'm just going to be honest. I'm concerned about all children that would be exposed to this demonic agenda. That's my stance. That's how I feel. I don't know about everybody else, but that's how I feel. So, you know what I mean? It's not about me. It's not about me and mine. I'm concerned about all children. That's the difference, because I don't have children in school.
Well,
Erica, let me share this with you all, because I got to get up early in the morning and go to work. There is a documentation, chapter 3, documentation of the homosexual agenda. Google that right now. And
I did. I got all that.
You see, Erica, now you see what they said we're going to do? So that's the thing.
I got Senate Bill 818. I'm going to call it out. Senate Bill 818 and House Bill 24. Y'all go look it up. But the most important thing is we need the parents to go up to the school and confront them about this.
Yeah,
you don't want your kindergartner, but I already stated that, sis. That's why I'm saying you coming on here jumping on me. I'm telling you, see, a lot of y'all don't listen before you jump in. That is what I said. I said, go up to the school. I called out to the parents. Go up to the school. They're teaching your kindergartners the gay BCs. They don't need to learn no gay BCs.
Well, hey, I wasn't
okay.
I didn't. The broadcast. I was driving and I cut in and out of the broadcast. I turned off YouTube for a second, but I wasn't jumping on you. Like I said, I'm agreeing with you, but at the same time, I'm pointing out, from the first thing that I heard, like the real answer to this, if you want these changes in these schools, the parents gonna have to show up and speak out. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, because y'all taxes pay for these teachers. You know, y'all. I mean, come on now. You know, the property taxes, y'all taxes pay for these teachers. I mean, especially if they're going to public. If they're going to public school, you know. So, you know, I'm just saying. You're one person. And I don't know how many people you have on your team. You may have 20 people that's rallying with you, but I'm speaking for the majority in these low income areas. We know that there's a lot of work to be done, and you know that there are so many problems. And these mothers, a lot of them are single mothers. They don't have time to be showing up to these PTA meetings, because when they get off work, they tired, they grumpy, they just not invested. And we know this is the truth.
No, that's that. Can I rebuttal on that? That right there. I would not, out of the 24 hours that's in the day, I would not sit up there and allow them parents to sit up there and talk about how they ain't got no time to sit up there and care for their children. Because that's what you're doing when you go into the meeting. I got a question for Dr. Sanders, because it is something, like I just mentioned it. Forget politics. Us as the community, or the ones who suffering ourselves, have to unify. Dr. Sanders, what do you think about, because they have teachers unions, they got unions for businesses, jobs, organizations, and everything. Churches even got alliances. But I've never seen a parent union. Forget a parent teachers union. I'm talking about a parent union where there's an organization or leaders. But let's go knock on parent doors. We got the right to sit up there and walk up to a kid and ask, who's your mom, who's your dad? You know what I'm saying? How can we get out there and really get to these parents who's not being heard? And because I agree with the lady in somewhat, and not everybody, but there's a percentage that's just too much. 1% of parents that's not caring is too much. And there is parents out there, and it's not because they don't care because they don't care about their kids. It's a lot of things that we're dealing with. You got some parents that's alcoholics. You got some parents that's drug addicts. You got some homes that's parentless. You got grandparents that's doing the best they can, but can't chase around the kid, can't get up. Now, those are the ones that I sit up there and make a way to make an excuse for, the grandparents that's taking care of a child that's not their own. So how do we to come together as a parent, as a community, to sit up there and come with the voice, because the leaders are the unity, not those looking for a leader to go speak for, because that leader that's going to speak for you will end up running into a wall full of money and then turn on you. But the leaders are the community as a whole, unified.
What's the question, brother? Rev, what's the question? You just keep talking.
The question is, how do we unify the parents? How do we unify the parents inside the community? What time do we have to go knock on doors, to write up some paperwork and some literature to really get them engaged in what we're talking about, even with that Black agenda? So that's what it's going to take.
We have, CPS have advocates that are working now in the school system. When they get the attendance, let me give you the reality of the truth in the Clip Note version. We stand outside the door every morning, some rain, sleet, or snow, and we see children that come to school half dressed. Parents pull up in some beautiful cars, I guarantee you. And a lot of them, particularly one student I work with, her father brings out of school almost 30 minutes before lunch, and he lives in the community, while the mother at work. See, we live in a reality, brother. I promise you, Reverend, we live in the reality of what we see, not what we hear. The parents won't even come get their kids on time. Instead of putting them in after school program where they can be able, to utilize their time, put them in something. But a lot of these parents do not come get their own kids on time. So when you talk about a group of parents coming together, I'm telling you what I've seen with Chicago Public Schools. As a substitute teacher, as a special education class assistant, working with one or two students, you get parents' attention. The principal sends emails out. Ever since the pandemic, the parents get emails. The parents get them. Now, there's some that do follow through, but it's getting another generation that is just totally don't really care. That's the one that you got to really get to. That's Pookie Ray Ray and them cousins that come there. You got to find out where their headspace is at. Because I've seen kids sit up and tell another kid, I kicked your M so-and-so, and sit up there and pull out a pretend gun with their finger. Oh, yeah, that's what I see. Miss Doris, I know you done probably seen it, but I done seen the worst of it now. It's reaching those who are not, you got a generation, Reverend, that's not clicking like Erica or Miss Doris or Martin. They're not thinking like that. That's the problem right there. Because, as you said earlier, you got them, I'm glad to get my baby out the house to be with whatever or do what I want to do. I'm tired. Well, this is reality. If you are that tired, stop scrolling. You ain't got to worry about nobody babysitting your child. Because I'm going to tell you something. The district is hard, and the network is hard on the special education program. Because some of the schools get buku money for special ed students. The AIR and the ISLA test, yeah, a lot of them, the teachers know it. But guess what? The students' mindset is not there to learn it.
Martin, may I? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
May I chime? Dr.
Yeah.
Sanders, you're right.
Go ahead, Doris.
Well, you know, there are just so many social and economic issues that we're dealing with in many parts of our communities. And the problem that we're experiencing is a problem that is due to babies having babies.
Say it.
When some of these schools, by the time some of these little girls are 16 years old, they have 2 or 3 babies. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing wrote about this 50 years ago, babies having babies. So this is where a lot of these problems are coming from. Children having children, and it's become generational. So we have bigger challenges now than we had 50 years ago. And it doesn't mean that we can't meet those challenges. And all I can say now is that we do it little by little because they're so big. And because they're so big, you can become so overwhelmed and you will feel like giving up. And you'll say, well, it's nothing I can do. But yes, it is. Let's just take one child, one family, one step, one street at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the way we're going to have to approach it because it's so out of control. But it can be done. It just means it's going to take a lot of us who are committed, and we can do it. Mm-hmm. And when we speak, let's speak from the position of power.
Mm-hmm.
There may be parents listening to us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They may be listening to us tonight, and I'm sure if there are, we are encouraging somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to tell people you have power. But if we continue to talk about, well, they're this and they're that, and they're on drugs and they're this and that, no. When I was in the classroom, what I would do, I would say to my children, I know some of you probably over the weekend had some bad experiences. I am here to listen, but I am not in the home with you. But one thing you will do while you're in my classroom, you are going to learn. You are going to learn. I am here to listen to you, but I will not tolerate you taking out your frustration on your classmates. Now, this is what a principal can do every day a child walks through those doors. But you don't have conscious principals like we do have some now, but it's not like it was back yesterday. A principal has a lot of power if she is conscious. She can set the tone. My children did not fight in my classroom. You did not bully anybody in that classroom. I was at a school, Martin, where the principal would put me in charge. They would listen to me before they would listen to the principal. So the principal of that school, that principal has a lot of power. If you are a black principal, you have an obligation to educate yourself and guide these children and set the tone for these children and tell these children what you are going to do. You are going to read today. You are going to pay attention today. You're not going to come in here with your foolishness. You can do that. You can do it in love. I could do it. I was in North Lawndale. 85% of the men in North Lawndale had a record. But I tell you one thing, I didn't have any problems with their children, because they would say to their children, we know if Miss Lewis gets on you, you must be doing something. And so you have to establish that kind of relationship with the parents in the community. I don't care if they're on crack or whatever they're on. You can still develop that relationship as teachers, as principals, and as counselors in those schools. So in these schools in the black community, it is your responsibility to establish that kind of relationship. Understand the population that you're working with. I understand. I understood that population. I worked all over the city of Chicago. I understood the population. But I didn't care. I can't do anything about the parent being on crack, but it is my responsibility to teach you.
That's right.
And I did it.
I got another caller.
And that's the thing too, Martin, because right now,
Okay.
they got the principals now are getting their own union. They're getting their own union now.
Okay.
After all these
Yeah.
years, they're getting their own union.
The name of that test is the IAR test.
Yeah, we got. Let me
Oh,
just
they changed it, huh?
hold on. I got a new caller, ladies and
It's
gents.
called IAR.
I got a new caller, Eric
They
Code.
Can't be quiet.
I got a new caller,
They're doing it this week.
917.
They doing it this week
917.
at my school.
917.
I'm off restriction, right?
917.
I'm off restriction, right? You can hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
I hear you. Go
I
ahead.
said I'm off restriction.
Yeah,
I
don't.
said I'm
Long
off
as you
re-
listen,
I said
long
I'm
as you don't
off
call these women,
How are you?
as long as you don't call these women BICT, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. First, I want to say I pop my collar to all you haters because I know I'm smart, educated. I know
Tiffany,
I'm fine.
stop it.
But to the young girl or whatever she is, but I have to, Martin. That girl came on there like you were her daddy last night. Had me cracking up. But to the other caller that called in, who knows the facts about the parents, to the who talk, Martin, you laugh and I see you
Go.
smiling.
Tiffany, go.
So anyway,
Talk.
to the other,
Okay.
okay. Martin, you know I'm crazy about you. Bump everybody else. But to the girl who's on the line, the female who's on the line with us, who was talking about parents getting involved.
She's still here.
Is she on here?
Yeah, she's
or
still
did
on
they
here.
take
I'm
her
here.
off? Okay, hi, how are you? You're so intelligent. Please, Martin, let her talk, please, Martin. and don't
Tiffany,
let the other
are you
caller-
going? I'm going to let her talk.
Cut her off, please.
Tiffany,
Wow, here we
Tiff-
go with this crap again.
Tiffany,
Who is this lady?
Yes, sir.
Tiffany, go ahead and talk. Say what you have to
Yes.
say. I promise you, I'm going to let her talk.
Put my hand up. No.
Tiffany,
Martin, if she cannot guide that young lady, cut her off. If
Okay.
she cannot provide guidance for her, cut her off.
okay,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah,
Thank you, Martin. Please,
Okay.
she's
Because
so
we all just
intelligent,
get her
Martin.
call to
She
come
knows
in and do
what
that.
she's talking about.
okay, okay. Tiffany, you want to make a statement? Make a statement.
God bless you.
I'm make a statement. Tiffany, you want to make something?
No,
Go
I'll
ahead.
stay on. I like
Okay.
her.
Okay, all right.
I think
I
it's very
N-
like her.
That's what we're finna do.
She
I'm
knows
finna
the
let her
facts
talk.
about the delinquency of the parenting in the home. She knows exactly what I know. The delinquency of what goes on in the homes of these itty bitty little boys and girls. She has all the answers. She said it. Your callers cut her off because they don't know what she and I know. Not everybody is on their same page all the time. And that,
Are you talking about me?
we can think outside the box.
Erica, don't go there, Erica. Erica, don't go there.
It's called confusion. It's called confusion. man.
Hey, listen.
No,
Hold it.
Confusion, man.
Hold it. Hold it. Hold
You
it. Hold
throw
it.
it out. I don't. That's not gonna happen.
But okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Now she can say whatever she wants. Long as she ain't calling no BICTHs and holes. I said she can talk. I don't have a problem with that. Now I want to go back to 0900. The young lady. That's who she's referring to.
That's me.
Come on, talk. She's talking about you.
Yeah.
So go ahead, speak your piece, whatever you want to say.
Well, I'm flattered that she has complimented me because I don't know her, obviously. But I mean, Martin, you know, like I said, that's really what it comes down to. And of course, you know, I'm not talking about every single Black person, Martin. That goes without saying. But you know, in the majority, because also I grew up in the West Humboldt Park neighborhood, and I went to school in the North Lawndale area. I went to a charter school, and I'm sure you're familiar like with KIPP schools, KIPP. I'm sure you've heard of them, the charter schools.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with them.
Yes.
I'm very familiar.
I went to a KIPP school, and when I was at a KIPP school, you know, it was 99% Black, and that was when it was in the North Lawndale neighborhood off Fifth Avenue, right there by the expressway. They was located in, I forget the school they was located in. But anyway, it was a lot of structure, Martin. I mean, we went to school from like 7:45 to 5 o'clock every day. And every other Saturday we had school every other Saturday we had school from like 9 to 1. And so there was a lot of structure. And the reality is, Martin, that was like 2004, 2005. And 5th through 8th grade. And those are formative years, you know, so you talking I forgot how old I was, but you know, even if you're not like a little baby, once these kids hit like 5th grade, you get another chance to really form them. So yeah, you're right. Not all hope is not lost once they hit a certain age, or I think that other lady said that, but you really have to have some structure. And it was, you had to earn everything. They made us sit in the hallway, and we had to earn our classrooms, Martin. We would sit in the hallway for like 3 weeks. They made it clear to us, and we had a great principal. He didn't take no stuff. His motto was, I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And to this day, I think of him, and I'm like, man, you know, he really did say what he mean, and he mean what he say. And the teachers cared. And what it really comes down to, Martin, it had to be that way. It had to be that way because they know a lot of these kids were coming from unstructured homes. It had to be that way.
Right.
And nowadays, that kind of, I don't know what the KIPP schools are like now. I know they're a little bit more relaxed just from what I see online. But I mean, that kind of structure, I mean, I don't even know if it's still there to that same degree. I don't know because the culture has changed, Martin.
Okay.
The culture has changed. Back when I was in school.
Hold on, let me ask you a question real quick, and I'm gonna let go to the next person.
Okay.
Can you give me some solutions what we can do to help some of these parents in these low income areas that's not participating with their children? Can you offer some solutions?
Okay, based on what my middle school did, I can say I think it comes down to the teachers also caring. If the parents feel the teachers care, then the parents might be more inclined to care. But it really just comes down to community, Martin. It comes down to community, and that's what we lack in the black community. We do not have a community. Everybody's out for themselves. Nobody, you know, in the white communities, these people during the pandemic, they formed little pods together so they kids could learn. I mean, they did all kind of creative stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, Martin, you got to go. Martin, you got to go in some of these Facebook groups, like in these white communities. So, you know, down here where I am, I'm in all the little white groups. You know, in your area in Chicago, you can, you know, join the Oak Park group. Join I don't know what's in Wicker Park or whatever. You know, join these groups. These white people they have a community. And that's what it comes down to, Martin. They need to feel empowered. They need to feel like their voices are heard. They need to feel like there is some hope. Because I really feel like today, a lot of people in the black community, they feel like there is no hope. And
Well, why did you leave the black community? Why did you leave the black community? You have these leadership skills. You know, why didn't you stay there and to help the black community? You moved out into a white community where they have everything that they need. They have the resources. Their children don't have the problems that we have. Now that's not to excuse us, but I have a problem with black people who go into white communities and they look at it as being so perfect, but yet when you talk about the black community, it's very negative. You're not considering all of the issues that black parents in these communities are experiencing. And again, it's not to excuse us.
Ma'am, I don't live in a white community. I don't live in a white community. I live in a black community. But see, here's the difference though. Here's the difference. I live down south now. I don't even live in Illinois. I live down south, and I'm gonna tell you this. Down south, even in some of these black communities, it's totally different than in Chicago. It's night and day, And so a lot of these gangs and a lot of this stuff, it don't even exist where I am.
Where are you?
What part of the South are you at?
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Georgia.
Yeah, my
and I'm not in Atlanta. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm on the outskirts. And I can tell you this. I tell my folks all the time, you do not see people. You don't see people standing around.
Martin, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Martin, you got a feedback in the back.
Okay. That's Tiffany. Is that not you? Tiffany, don't do that. If that's you, don't do it. Let them talk. Let her talk. Okay, go ahead, sister.
So what I'm saying is down here, it's night and day. And I don't live in the cream of the crop. I live in what some people call kind of the ghetto, kind of the hood, but even the hoods down here, Martin, and all y'all others, it is night and day. And it's just so astonishing to me. I'm never moving back to Chicago. I love my folks up there. I love the city, and I come back every couple months to visit, but I'm never living back up there. I don't want to live around that, because you know what, Martin? I'm gonna tell you this. When I do come and visit, my mom, she lives on the west side in the Austin neighborhood, right there on the border of Oak Park. It is so depressing. Mentally, it is so depressing to just be in these areas and you see people walking around, everybody strung out on drugs, they're looking sad, they're looking hopeless. I mean, and you know, I get around on the CTA. I'm taking the Austin bus, I'm taking the Pulaski bus. It is depressing to see. And you know, you think mental health is bad. When you live in these communities, yeah, your mental health is going to be bad because you don't have to be a product of your environment, but in many cases you are, whether you know it or not. It's subconscious, and you got to protect your spirit. You got to protect your mental health, and you also got to protect your life. And with all these killings and stuff that's happening, I didn't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. And you know, my family, I don't want to be a victim. Okay.
This is what lack of resources create. This on the west side, you need to understand the system. This is a system. We're living in a system of racism and white supremacy that has created these problems.
Talk. Let Doris talk. Go ahead, Doris.
Before you blame the victim, and we are all victims of this system of racism and white supremacy. You're in the South, but let me tell you something. It's coming your way. It's in Jackson, Mississippi. It's in Alabama. It's all over. And it's due to the lack of opportunities, the lack of resources that Black people do not have. Now, about the school system here in Chicago, there's some good schools here in Chicago where Black principals are doing some good things. We want it in every community. That's unfortunate, but we don't have it. But there are some schools here in this city where principals are doing a good job. And as I said earlier, if you are a principal of a school, you have a whole community in your hand that you can mold into whatever you want to mold that community into. We have to take it little by little. But baby, I guarantee you, it's on its way to where you are.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's
well, keep living. Keep living.
Okay, Martin.
Keep living.
Yes.
Martin, you got too much echo in the back.
Okay,
you got to shut it down because that's Miss Doris. Martin, Miss Doris.
Hold on.
Is retired, and she's a retired professional. somebody in the background keeps running their mouth. And that causes a lot of
Tiffany,
problems right there.
Tiffany, that's Tiffany.
As a young lady from Georgia was talking,
Hold on, Tiffany. Tiffany,
she got to
hold
cut it
on.
off.
Hold on, Tiffany. Wait. Hold on, wait. Let me just say this. Let me just say, everybody be quiet for a minute. Let me just say this. Let me say this. Tiffany, you cannot do that on here. If Miss Doris talking, give her respect. She's a senior, respect her. Now, when the other young lady was talking, you didn't say a word. But when Miss Doris says something, it's like an echo. Don't do her like that. Don't do it like that. Listen.
You know what, Martin? Let me say to Tiffany. Tiffany does not bring anything to this conversation. She needs to be cut off. She's not bringing anything to the conversation. You need to cut her off. We're talking about empowering Black people.
Right.
Ladies.
Hey, Miss Doris.
Ladies.
Miss Doris.
Ladies. Miss Sanders, Miss Doris, ladies, Erica, you know, ladies. Now, you got two gentlemen on the phone with y'all. One is the host, and the other one is the guest. And we ain't saying nothing. I believe that Mark is trying his best to allow people to get their point across. But let's not embarrass ourselves. Let's not misrepresent the platform that he allow us to have. And that's something that we have been doing. I understand that everybody's excited. We all got valuable points. We all speaking facts. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Reverend, the only thing we're saying is we can't hear.
Let me just say, I'm not pulling up for no. Let me just finish, please. Let me finish because I'm trying to settle the atmosphere right
now. No, I'm just saying.
So
we can't hear her.
No, listen, one mic.
We can't hear.
All right. Well, if you can't hear it, that means it ain't have time to talk. Because I hear a lot of people talking over people. I hear some valuable points that I'm trying to get and get the speed on. So no.
Nobody talk but Rev.
We are men on the phone.
No, go ahead, Rep. Go ahead.
Nobody?
Go ahead. No, you're right. You good, Rep. You go. That's I don't want them talking over you. Yeah.
So I mean, we gotta let us have some decency. You are all beautiful queens on this phone. Everybody got the right to their own value of opinion, because just because it's opinion don't mean it's right, but it's valuable to them. You understand? It's valuable according to their experience. Now, I don't agree with everything that Ms. Doris is saying, only when she got a line of disrespect. And I totally agree with Ms. Sanders. Listen, Ms. Doris, you are getting out of line.
What did you say? I'm trying to hear you.
I said I don't disagree with everything that you're saying. I agree with some things that you're saying, but it's the way that we coming across with some things. Ms. Sanders, I admire what she's saying. She's very educated in her experience and what she deal with. But let's not embarrass ourselves and embarrass this brother's platform because he give it freely unto us to value our opinion, and so everybody can hear. You got thousands of people listening in, even if they ain't called in. So with that being said, we cannot act like the same problems that we have. We are not acting like we got the answer to the problems right now. So back to the children inside these schools. I just looked up and I seen that the testing and the way that I see that this paper goes, like it says something on here saying that this new test helps the stakeholders understand students' mastery of grade level standards. It helps them understand the monitoring progress to college and career readiness. And it helps them understand to assist and determine whether curriculum and instructions are supporting student achievement. Let me tell you something about that. That's CPS agenda and what they're trying to do. So what you have in these schools and the problems is not the teachers, and it's not the teachers, and it's not the principals, and it's not the students. It's those that have an agenda. When the school board of education puts out inside these schools the curriculum, they got to follow those curriculum. So guess what you got to do? It's a reason why there's charter schools. There's a reason why there's private schools. There's a reason why CPS school is falling. I told somebody that's on the board that the education system for Chicago public schools is falling. Not only that, it's falling in other places too. And we must understand that. So while we sit up here and fight, talk about how we keep our kids in these schools, how we get the mayor and everybody to sit up there and allocate a better future for our kids, you need to be snatching your kids out these schools. Now, they'll sit up there and call DCFS here in Chicago of 1 parent, 2 parent, 3 parents snatch their kid out. But if all the parents snatched their kids out of CPS school and really boycott and said, we don't want our kids going to school learning that homosexuality mess. We don't want them going in there to these fake STEAM academies where they ain't learning engineering, where they ain't learning reading, where they ain't learning technology. Then we could sit up there and we have to say so for our kids. These is our kids. We signed them birth certificates. We laid down with the woman and had them. So we got the power to go in there because they always come back to us and value our opinion when it comes to our kids. When it's all over with, like we get them text messages from the schools, they always gonna do that. That means we always gotta say so. And we know the problem. We see, I'm tired of talking about the problem. I'm ready to die for the issue. I'm ready to die to sit up there and get out that my sons may sit up there and have a future. Because it's nasty, it's disgusting, it's dangerous, and it's evil what's going on. And tomorrow we're going to wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be the same thing, if not worse. So let us not come on here and tear down each other on our opinions, because when it's all over with, we all reaching the common goal with the things that we saying.
Martin, may I respond to him? May I respond to him, Martin?
Okay.
Let me respond. Let me finish because I'm going to get off when I say
Go ahead, Sister Doris. Let Sister Doris go.
Let me respond.
Sister Doris.
Okay, I'm
Go
going
ahead,
to
Sister
respond.
Doris.
I'm
Sister
going
Doris,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
respond to the minister.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to respond to the minister. First of all, I want, and I think Martin knows, that I appreciate this show, this platform for us to express the things that we're expressing. I will never disrespect him or anyone for that matter, but this is where Miss Doris is. Miss Doris is. We don't have time. We don't have time to listen to unproductive information. I don't have that kind of time. As a people, we don't have that kind of time. That's all I have to say on that. Now, as far as these standardized tests are given all over America. All over America. If a child is in the first grade and they go to the second grade and they cannot read, they're not going to be reading when they go to the second grade and go to the third grade. I am a teacher. I'm a former teacher. I'm a former counselor. If these children are not reading in the first, second, and third grade, you can forget it. So these principals in these schools have a responsibility to set up that curriculum in such a way that they focus on that kindergarten, first, second, and third grade level. If you don't get it then, these kids are going to continue to have problems 4th, 5th, 6th, and on up during their educational experience. That is very, very important. What I have seen in Chicago is that these lower grades are not focused on in the way that they should be focused on. And I don't care what curriculum is put before you, what test is put before you. If you cannot read, you're not going to be able to pass that test. And in terms of teaching, the curriculum that they put before you, you as a teacher, you can do anything you want to do in your classroom. I was told throughout my time with the Chicago public school system what I could or could not do. If they told me I couldn't do it, I did it. But you got to be courageous enough to do it. You got to be courageous enough to know, you got to be courageous and you got to know what it is that Black children need. And you have a responsibility as a Black teacher to make sure you do what you need to do in order for your children to be able to progress and go on through high school and be successful in that world. They're going to always be telling us what we cannot do. And it's by design that they do it. But it can be done. It is being done. It has been done. But we have to commit ourselves to our children. Again, it starts with that principal. She's got 400 kids in her schools. She can do whatever she wants to do, but she has to be conscious. She has to know what to do. In many instances, a lot of these new principals who come in, they don't know. It can be done. It's not rocket science, but you got to go against the system. Understand this system all over America is set up for Black children to not be successful. So that's why it becomes our responsibility as Black teachers to do it. That's why they've gotten Black teachers out of the schools. When we had tenured Black teachers in these schools in Chicago, we did not have the social problems that we're having with these children today. And when you have these social problems, it's going to impact the academic problem. That's why they got rid of the teachers here in Chicago. 82% of the teachers in America are white teachers. 82%. Ever since 1954 Brown versus the Board of Education, Black teacher employment has been going down, down, down. Somebody mentioned the charter schools. In the charter schools, 90% of those teachers are white teachers, if not more.
That's true.
90% of them. KIPP has been kicked out of certain areas. KIPP was kicked out of Gary, Indiana. KIPP is not in Oak Park. KIPP is not in Evanston. KIPP is nowhere in these schools where it's a predominantly white population. Charter schools is a big business. Paul Vallis is a big proponent of charter schools because it's a big business. Hedge fund managers who work on Wall Street businessmen are investing in building these charter schools because they're getting like a 39% tax break. If you have to build a charter school in 2 or 3 years, you can double your money. And they're doing it because they're getting these insurmountable tax breaks. This is what charter schools are about. If you look at the test schools with the charter school test scores and CPS test scores, there's no big difference.
Mm-hmm.
There's no big difference. Understand, charter schools are not set up to educate Black people, Black children. It is about money. Michael Johnson had a charter school on the West Side. These people get big tax breaks. So let's understand this charter school nonsense.
Those are stakeholders, right? I know what those are stakeholders that need to understand.
As a product of a charter school, a great charter school at that. KIPP schools are great schools, and I can tell you this: I got an A1 education, 5th through 8th grade at my charter school, and I was accepted into some very prestigious high schools. I didn't go because it came down to the money. But if you know anything about KIPP schools, at least back then, like I said, I don't know what it's like now. I would assume they have the same goals and the same mission. But when I was going back in the early 2000s, 2005 to 2009, we performed. We got great test scores, and of course, then I don't know the politics of charter schools, so I'm not disclaiming what you're saying there. It may be about big business, but I'm saying when it comes down to education, I agree with charter schools, and I'm thankful that I was accepted to a charter school. And I'm very thankful that my mom took me out of Cameron off Division and Monticello or whatever that street is. I was in Cameron. I told my mom I was not learning anything. It was a literal zoo. Kids running around, teachers ain't doing nothing. It's just a zoo. But when I went to that KIPP school, I was an example. My mom, she did something. I came home and I told her I was not learning anything, and this is what's going on. She took me out of that school. How many parents are listening to their children that care enough and are doing what they need to do and taking their kids out of these schools?
Well, sweetheart, you're fortunate, but most of these charter schools don't work. I got 3 or 4 books that I have read about charter schools. Let me give you New Orleans, Louisiana, where Paul Vallis was the superintendent down there. Paul Vallis destroyed every traditional public school in New Orleans. And they're having problems there today. In many of the high schools, they really could close them. And thousands of Black teachers lost their jobs. You were fortunate. I'm not saying that all charter schools are bad. I'm saying the majority. You were fortunate enough to go to one. But if you look at the research, Dr. Sanders can chime in on that. Look at the research. Look at the data. Look at the test scores. They are no better. But you got one. I'm glad you had that one charter school. Okay.
Martin, I've been quiet for 30 minutes. Real calling my name to my Erica. I ain't been saying that for 30 minutes.
Okay,
But
okay, Erica.
I will say this.
Erica,
I didn't call your name to bad. I called your name because you was still on the phone.
Hold on, Erica. Before you start, Dr. Sanders said she got to go to bed.
Yeah.
Go close me out. I mean, go ahead, Dr. Sanders. I'm not closing me out, but go ahead. Then I'll let Erica go. Go ahead, Dr. Sanders.
Yeah, this is my only point was let me Reverend, let me explain something to you about preachers. I married to one. So I understand respect. I was trying to hear Miss Doris. That's what I was trying to do. It was too much echo in the back for us to hear. So no one was beefing or battling. No one was dishonoring anyone's opinion. But I want to get you to understand, so your understanding won't be misconstrued. We couldn't hear her. There was too much talking. In radio, I know how to cut somebody off. So no one was arguing with each other. I wanted to hear the story. Erica wanted to hear her. Please do, because that was not that. It was not that.
Yeah, it sounded chaotic. I was just trying to get off. It was chaotic.
Well, no, I couldn't hear. That was the problem. But my point is, Miss Doris, you are speaking the truth. My son, I have to say this, and I got to go because I got to get up early. He graduated at Perspective. I pulled him out of CPS because of, I think I shared you all my testimony with how they wanted him to do a research on Chief Keef, somebody that's killing folks and talking about dope and drugs. I pulled him out, and I've homeschooled him for 2 years. And I became effective with his education as his mother, not as Dr. Sanders, as his mother. And I was a part of that homeschool. So I studied the curriculum of homeschool, K through 12. Then I put it in perspective, which he graduated top of his class, high GPA, and now he's at Iowa State engineering. But my thing is I was always been an active parent to all of my children's education because I wanted to. Not that it was my job, but because I wanted to know that what they needed to learn. There was a white teacher at Fitz that was teaching Black history and didn't know what she was talking about. The late Harold Washington's nephew, Mr. Hill, was one of the associates up there at the school at Fitz. And he said, I said, she don't know about following the drinking gourd. What she know about that? She said it was Jesus Christ. No, it wasn't. Following the drinking gourd had nothing to do with Jesus Christ. So what Miss Lewis is saying is true. Become effective to know what your child is learning. Miss Erica, yes, you are correct, because I found a couple of books that said my name is not Samantha, it's Sam. Oh yeah, I done seen a bunch of those books with my own eyeballs. And I said, God, I gotta go because I can't do this. Because it compromises my faith in God. Because CPS training sessions for those curriculum for you as a worker, they want you to agree with bisexual, homosexual. They want you to do it. We take safety school tests for that. They send us that all the time. Miss Doris, you know they do. We get tested every year, 2 or 3 times a year. We got to take those tests and agree, although you disagree. So this is the reality of what's going on. And I appreciate you, Martin. You know, you're my brother. But Miss Doris, Miss Erica, whatever you need from me, I got you. That's all I have to say. Good night. I got to go.
I'll get you the information.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
Okay, Erica. Go ahead, Erica.
Right. Bye-bye.
Erica, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick statement about the charter schools. I hear the sister saying, you know, that she did really well in the charter school, and that's a great thing. But the thing that they're doing now, like that meeting that we sat in, Martin, with the housing department giving that land to the people in the South Loop to build that school.
Right, I remember that.
But here you have all of these other we got all these other high schools. We got Dunbar, other high schools down there that don't have resources, but they want to bring in this one charter school and make that the shiny diamond. And then the people that's in Dearborn homes won't even be able to go to the school unless they're tested. So that is the problem that I have. These charter schools are basically for high performing students. That's the way they get their money. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that leaves all the other children behind. Why not just, make those schools solid, make those whole, bring those teachers into those schools and get everybody up to par, not just 1, 2, or 3 of them. That's what happened here in Chicago. That's what Paul Vallis did. He left a lot of children behind, and then they came up with this law, No Child Left Behind. Now you're graduating, right? They're graduating children that can't even read. They can't form a sentence. You understand? They can't do simple math. You just graduating them to get them out the way, but that's not right. You see what I'm saying? You need to take that money and put these trades back into these schools, teach our children basic life skills. And people always say, oh, y'all want the government to do this. Listen, our tax dollars are funding these things, okay? When you go out in suburban schools, them people make them implement what they need. Because their tax dollars is funding that. Their children are there. So don't make me seem like I'm saying something wrong, because I want my tax dollars to be used in my community for my people. I want Black teachers in those schools. I don't want transgender teachers in the schools. I've been going to schools doing volunteer work, and I see men in there looking like women. These children don't need to be exposed to that. I'm just telling you the honest to God truth. I'm telling you the honest to God truth, and I don't care who gets mad about it. This ain't about, going against no community. No, I'm talking about what's morally correct. If that's the way you want to live your life, you do it, but don't expose the children to it. That's the problem that I have with these people. Don't push it on the children. So all I'm saying is charter schools are good, but charter schools is not working for everyone. They are leaving children behind, because if you come in there and you're not getting high scores, they lose money. So they don't want you there. Well, you know what I mean? We have to level the playing field. If you don't want to leave a child left behind, give the child what it needs to succeed. That's it.
And what they have done too in the charter schools, because of what Erica just said, if you're not on level, it has caused a large percentage of homeless children in these charter schools, because they push them out of the charter schools. They were having trouble in the public schools. So what the children do, they just drop out. So it's a lot of problems been created in the Black community as a result of the charter schools. But I will reemphasize, and then I'm going to get off. All of this falls under the system of racism and white supremacy. And they will come up with different institutions, just different entities, to make it seem as if we can't do anything correct for the sole purpose of taking over. And that's what's going on in America, across the United States of America. And I'm going to say this and I'm gone. A classic example of what I'm talking about is going on in Jackson, Mississippi today. They're trying to put them back into post-Reconstruction. Martin, thank you for having me on. This has been a lively conversation. We must continue to have them. And as we're having these conversations, we are unifying. We are unifying.
Yes, we are.
So thank you,
yes,
Martin.
we are.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And good night to everyone.
I got a new caller. Hey, I got a new caller. 0941. I think that's old man Marcus. Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
How you doing, Mark?
I know you doing. I know you coming in on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was sitting back listening, and I really wish the people who packed that old school in Inglewood could tune in and listen to what I heard tonight on your show. I heard Paul Vallis' name. I heard, and I was talking to a brother in Walmart before I came home. You know him, Keith, and he was trying to break it down to me. He didn't go to the meeting either. He was like, we in a catch-2 situation. I said, well, they got us both ways. They playing Connect 4 with us. Why would anybody, black, even think about supporting Paul Vallas? I know that's not the topic on your show, but he came up. If he wrecked school systems across the nation, what do these black people think he's gonna do if he get in City Hall?
Give him some money.
He came from the Daley administration. Daley was about privatizing. You support when you go to the beach with your woman or your man and you park your car, that's free. Tax dollars pay for that. But you are actually paying to go to the beach when you got to feed a parking meter. Daley did that. Daley put these cameras up out here. Daley shut down all these schools and hired people like Paul Vallas to do it. Now, what do you think Paul Vallas is going to do? Anybody black that's listening to your show that hasn't called in, that's thinking about supporting this man, listen to these people. Listen to these school teachers talk. All of them said tonight that called into your show that Paul Vallas wrecked the school system. The school system was wrecked before he got here. Chicago Public Schools has been set up to fail black children. They have failed generations of black children. And then you had black teachers who had the power to teach these kids, but got lazy, some of them, and just said, hey, I got mine. You get yours the best way you can.
Hold
Chicago
it right.
Public Schools has been designed.
Yeah. When you hold on, brother. I got another caller. Let me get this caller real. 3381. 3381. I know I've been over 2 hours. It's probably 2.5 hours. Come on, caller. Hey, caller.
Hey, Martin. I was just listening to you guys. Hey, Martin.
How you doing? Go ahead.
Martin.
Yeah, I'm here, live uncut.
Hey, Martin. I was listening to you guys about. Hey, Martin. I was just listening to you guys about the charter schools and the public schools, and I went to Simeon, and we had to take a test for me to enter that school. You know, we had to take a test, and you didn't pass the test, you couldn't enter the school, and you had to write an essay. So I kind of agree with the fact that the test scores might be the same as the CPS and the charter schools, the testing and things of that nature. But I just feel like it doesn't make a difference when you go to charter school, CPS school. The best thing you do is just check this test for yourself, and just try to make it. Go to school, try to take initiative. You need to go to after school programs. It's not that hard. I mean, it don't make a difference on where you're from, it's where you're going. So it's like, like, I don't know. And I'm young, so,
Okay.
I understand what y'all guys saying, the community got messed up, but, it's what you make it. It's how you make it, It's your life. So it's either you want to do it or you don't,
So,
In a way, to me, and I can agree with you. I understand when you're saying it's your life, but I think it's a certain level of students that can deal with that statement, and that's when you get to the point where it's high school. It's really not the choice of the child, because their job is to go in and do what their parents expect them to do and learn. And when their parent is expecting them to learn, they going in, they're not being taught. It's kind of hard to make it the best way that you can, because your job as a child is to learn from your mentors, from your teachers, and you don't know. So if somebody's teaching you something that they feel that it's right to teach you, don't mean that it's right. You know what I'm saying? And now the child is growing up, and they done went through 8 years of their life already with the agenda of what somebody taught them. So by the time they get to 9th grade up to 12th grade, they already stuck, shall we say. Most of these kids that's coming out of these schools today don't even know what they want to do with their lives. They don't know what careers they want to go. Most of them don't want to go to college because they done being traumatized so much with the bogus education that's being taught. See, it's one thing to sit up there and engage a child in knowledge. but you got to know what knowledge to give unto the child and how they can relate to it. And no kid in no charter school, no private school, no CPS school, whatever educational system is being engaged in the knowledge that needs to know. But it takes things like I heard a man say at the meeting, the PTA meeting, he said that the most of the stuff that I'm learning in school now, I don't even use them right now that I'm grown. I don't use it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. So when they expecting for kids to sit up there and learn the stuff that they're teaching and they're not learning it, they still not preparing them for life when it's time for them to grow up and do what they have to do to get by. And that's the problem.
Can we talk about what the schools were actually, Martin, can we talk about
go
what
ahead.
the schools were actually?
I got another caller.
We need to talk about what we need to talk about what the public school system was actually designed to do. The public school system was designed so that working parents can have a place to drop their kids off. It's not just for educating. Why do you think the school hours work around the work day? You think you think that what these kids are learning in school, you think it takes them 7-8 hours? No, it doesn't. It takes what these kids are learning in school. You could teach them yourself at home in probably 2 or 3 hours, maybe 3 or 4, depending on their age. But when you take out the actual curriculum time, the time that these kids are having in lunch, in recess, switching back and forth from classes, it doesn't take that long if they were in a home setting. This is why in a perfect world, everybody would be homeschooling their own kids. And let's not forget, we need to talk about something else, Martin. The attack on boys in these school systems, not just public schools. The attack on boys in these school systems, where boys primarily, because I know this is the case with my brother, and I've heard the case with a lot of boys. They try to put these boys on this ADHD medication. If you study boys, they're not designed to sit in a chair for 8 hours because of all the testosterone that's lingering throughout their body. Boys are naturally hyper, and they're not designed to sit in a classroom for 8 hours. So, you're doing your boys. Girls are different. Girls can sit for long periods of time, but boys are not really designed to. And I know people, they don't really want to believe that, but why do you think every time you look around, they trying to put your boys on ADHD medication? And it's primarily the boys. It's primarily the boys.
They call it Adderall.
Because I remember when my brother was coming up. When my brother was coming up, they tried that stuff on my brother. And my mom, I think she tried it for a little while. I don't think she tried it at all. But saying, oh, he's too hyper. Of course the boy's gonna be hyper. A 7-8-year-old boy's gonna be hyper. But the thing is, this is why if you have sons, you are already doing them a disservice by putting them in these schools in the first place, because it's not designed for them. It's not even designed for them. And I would have to go into I'm not fully educated enough to go into like the technical terms, but I listened to a podcast the other day and they brought this up, and this was something I hadn't heard before. And I was like, wow, now it makes sense why boys primarily are targeted with these ADHD medications. And then on top of that, the mothers are incentivized. They get a check. And so they're more than likely, especially in these poor neighborhoods, they're more than likely to put their child on this medication because they're going to get a check.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah. What'd you say?
And so, it just.
Okay.
Can I also drop this in?
Yeah, go ahead, Marcus.
On what she's saying.
Okay, go ahead.
They also, in the 70s and 80s, and maybe the 60s, but I know about the 70s and 80s, they were throwing black boys in special ed and leaving them there and saying they had a problem. And then their parents would put them on medicine. They go see a doctor or whatever. They would put them, if they weren't at a good hospital where the doctor knew, they would throw these kids in special ed and give them all these terrible names. And then they go through all this abuse, emotional abuse, that the kid is walking around thinking something's actually wrong with them. They were throwing black boys, if they act up in a regular ed class, oh, he got a bad behavior problem. They almost threw my cousin in there. And my mother stopped that from happening.
In my school,
yeah. Hey, hold on, Reb.
Let me call Philip Sheridan.
Reb, I got a new caller. 4128. 4128 caller, come on.
What up, Martin?
What's going on?
All I want to say is that, I work in CPS. So, like, we really need to stop. I'm just reading the comments. Nobody said that. Reading the comments how we continue to blame the teachers. First off, your kid got to come to school to learn something. That's first off. The school I work at, I ain't gonna name the school, but the small school, we have 268 kids. 268 kids never come. We only have up to 230 kids come to school every day. Ever since school started back in August, we never have 240. So I'm just reading the comments how we blaming the school. Oh, my kid don't know this because of the teacher. No, you got to see your kid to school first. No, and every day, just don't see your kid to school on Monday and thinking the teacher's going, and they out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those something. That's it, Martin. I gotta go.
Okay. All right. Listen.
And then look this.
Hey, listen. Hold on.
This for the minister though.
Hold on. I'm going to give everybody a minute because I got to get off. I've been on here, everybody a minute, maybe a minute and a half to say something. I've been on here 2 hours and 45 minutes. We jumped from topic to topic, but we'll start.
Good, Martin.
Okay. All right. Come on, brother. Come on. You on it. Come on. I'll give you 1 minute. 1 minute. Come on.
Minister, I'm just referring to the minister. The minister had said that when you get out of high school, they're not looking forward to doing nothing. They're not looking forward for no good jobs or no bright future. Well, you got to think about it. The parents, you got to think about it. Over 50% of the parents, they are under 30 years old. Okay, so if you're 30 years old, you might have a child that's 14. So if your child is 14, so you have a kid. Right now, you 30 years old, you went to high school, maybe graduated barely, and you got you a day-to-day job 9 to 5. Now you got you a kid now. Now, you're not really expecting your kid to overachieve because you never overachieve. You just got by and you got your child now and you just, you're not really expecting them to do too much because you didn't really do too much. So it's like a repeat cycle. So what I'm saying to say is though, it's like it's still hope for it's still hope for Chicago. Don't give up on Chicago and the black men and the black community. It's still hope. It's just that everybody has to get involved. It has to start like I heard you guys talking about the teachers and all that. It's the principal, the teachers, the parents, and the child. Everybody has to get involved. It's just gonna take. It's not about the teachers and just the principal. The kid has to want to learn and want to be attentive and want to make something for themselves, and the parent has to want to see their child succeed. It's all that has to intertwine in one. It's just not you. You trying to get a village. It's a village. It's not just one. So if you want to be successful, it has to take all four, just not one. That's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm going to go to Marcus next, then I'm going up the ladder. Okay, Marcus, go ahead. You got a minute and a half.
All right. Well, it's going to take all of us to demand better out of this public school system that was designed here in Chicago to fail black children. I think one of the problems that some parents make a mistake on doing, in my family, say, for instance, I used to like to draw. So the people in my family would tell me, you're going to grow up to be an artist. I also used to like to work with birds and plants. They would also tell me, you're going to grow up to be a science. I think black parents don't encourage their children. A white parent is going to buy their child a drum set. They see their child playing the buckets, they're going to buy their child a drum set and encourage them instead of encouraging them to go work at a factory or a grocery store for the rest of their life. That's not going to get them nowhere. A child has to have a passion. And in school, some teachers can recognize that. I had teachers in public school to tell me the same thing my parents were telling me. You're going to grow up to be an artist. One even told me you'll grow up to be a professor or a preacher. You're going to be somebody. And when you tell a child that, that gives them a thought of a career to go into. These children that's coming out of school today, they're hopeless. They don't know what they want to do. They trying everything, and then they're being misled by the other people on the street who are peer pressure. So I think the parents need to encourage their children more, not just the school system alone. School starts at home, not in a building down the street.
Okay. All right, Doc. All right, young lady, 0900. Go ahead.
00.
Yeah, that's you.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, you're right. Education starts at home, and I think I said a couple streams ago, you know, more Black parents, they need to really take the initiative and make their kids read to them. I know, like I said, Mar, I know so many Black young mothers who do not read to their kids. And when I go in a lot of Black homes, I don't see no books around. Well, when I go in white homes, you see books everywhere for their kids. That's all I'm saying. And education starts at home. We got our priorities messed up in the Black community. You know, these Black kids, they got every pair of Jordans and Air Force Ones there is. They ain't got no books inside it. Nothing. So.
Yep.
Okay. I got
that's what it is.
Okay. All right. Reb, you my last one.
True.
My last one, Reb.
Yep. Yeah, I enjoyed this broadcast. I enjoyed all the opinions and the factual experiences that were spoken. And many people need to hear this, especially the parents that's less fortunate with the understanding of making a better future for our kids. I remember going to Philip Sheridan. It's now called Arnold Morales. And this is going to piggyback on what they were saying about what they used to do with the young man, putting them in special ed, what they used to do to the young man and putting them on Adderall. I was in school before that. Adderall was really noticed in my generation. But inside of Arnold Morales, what they did is you had the regular classes, then you had the special ed classes, then you had behavioral classes. So I believe under Paul Vallis' design, because this is the time I was in school at the time that he was the school superintendent. Under his design, you could tell that this is a system that was set up within them 3 departments to keep the education of the children at bay. So if it's a child in there with behavior problems, there's a reason why he got behavior problems, traumatization that's going on at home. And if he's special ed, he might not really be special ed. It's just that he was so focused on what was going on in the trauma that he couldn't focus in school. But you had all the other kids who was focused. And there's always going to be a bigger percentage of kids that focus, but you had a lot of classes. They even had it separated where they had an actual Hispanic class, a whole department upstairs. So it's always been segregated. It's always been designed to sit up there and keep the children at bay. And what we need to do today, and I'm going to keep on saying it, it's the reason why I jumped on the PTA board. It's the reason why I sit in the LLC board. Because in those departments, you are going to find out on how they're dealing with your children. They tell on themselves every single time.
Rare.
It never fails. And as we engage as parents to get inside there, we will be able to make a change. And that's all I want.
Amen. Amen. That was amen for the preacher there, y'all. Y'all know the preacher be long-winded, though. You know. All right. Thank you, Pastor. All right. All right. I got 2 preachers on here tonight, y'all.
Thank you, Martin.
You know what? Thank you. Continue to call in. All right, people. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all wore me out tonight, though. I tell you, but I love y'all, though. I love the good ones and the bad ones on here.
And got a powerful show, the best show in Chicago.
That's it. And you know what? We all make the show, though, because we look forward. Y'all done got me spoiled. I can't even go out and find me a date night. You know what I'm saying? I'm glued to the computer, boy. I said, oh well, all right, good. People say, somebody asked me, that's all you do.
Information to tell us tomorrow.
All right. Listen, I'll see y'all again tomorrow.
Man, you're doing a good will.
Thank you. Don't forget to go vote. You know, my choice is Brandon Johnson, whatever your choice may be. Don't forget to vote. We got an election coming here in the city of Chicago. It's serious. It's serious. It's serious. So please vote. Vote your choice. Vote your choice. If you vote for the other person, I'm not gonna be mad at you. I may stop speaking to you though, and I'm just playing. But I appreciate you guys. This is live, uncut, unedited. Thank you guys. It's going. Oh, Monique said date after the election, huh? That's right, because I need to go every day, people. I need to go every day. And you're right, Monique. I need to go every day. I can't be mad at you, Monique, for that one. All right, y'all. This live, uncut, unedited. Y'all already know what it is.
You already know what it is.
It's what?
Live, uncut, unedited.
This is where we
tell the truth
and what?
And shame the devil.
Now, I don't know about you, Monique, and the rest of y'all.
I love being black.
I don't know about y'all, but
I love being black.
All right. That's what it is. Good night, people. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. All right. It's too late for dinner, Martin. All right. That's right, Kathy.